Fire! For your mind. Culture clinician.
Hola, tudo bem. Now, recently, it's Austin Holleman, first of all. Recently, as in 12 hours ago from now, 3 a.m. Brazil time, Salvador, Sao Paulo, Rio de Janeiro time, Austin, I posted a video, a clip of my longer YouTube videos titled, Do Brazilian Women Like Criminals or Good Dudes? The purpose of this video was for my followers to get a perspective on the difference of the culture between Brazil and the United States, because the United States, the women like the criminals. This has been scientifically proven. So I said, you know what? I think Brazilian women are the best women on the planet, but let me go out and ask these women what they think and prove my point. I've said several videos that I think Brazilian women are the best women on the planet. I just now started posting my clips on Twitter. I think this may have been the first one. And it went viral. Okay, I woke up, it had like 20-something thousand views. That was like at 7 in the morning. It's 3 p.m. and it's at almost 900,000 views. So this video is probably gonna hit 2 million views before 24 hours. Like literally within 20 minutes, 70,000 people saw the video. Like it was like 750,000. Then
Passport bros, you guys want to hear a success story? Look what I pulled from the old country, right? It's great. She doesn't even speak English, so I don't have to listen to her.
Yeah, Passport bros, I see you, looking good, got the visas on law, heading around the world, on your rendezvous, got your yachts, got your crew, picking up the girls. Make sure you got those green cards on lock too. Don't worry about us, boo. We holding it down, The children know who's who.
When they get past 35, when they hit 40, maybe even 50, that's when all of a sudden they're having like this midlife crisis where they don't have kids and they don't feel like they have a legacy. They're not proud of themselves, and now they're eager to breed. I've met guys like that were eager to knock me up. They were just like, please have my baby. Like, let me tell you, this is why a lot of guys in that generation are going overseas to the Philippines and other third world countries to find a wife, because the women in their own culture or their own country are not interested. And there's other factors, but sometimes it's literally because they're just not desirable to the women. And the younger girls are not interested either because they want to live their life, you know. They really want to get us to desire them. Like, they want us to want that older generation, but it's like, you guys are not as attractive as the guys that are closer to our age. And it's a natural desire to be mutually attracted to somebody. Like, women in the Philippines.
Off my chest about the Passport brothers. If you broke, just say that shit. You are giving off broke vibes because you won't leave. Every fucking day you throw up that passport and threaten us that you're gonna fucking go. I already have a black man I adore, so you can get the out of here. Ain't nobody holding you. And then you turn back around, wait for somebody to say, don't leave. Get the out. Hurry up. I ain't never seen a broke bunch of men who and complain about going to go get another woman because they don't have the common sense to learn how to talk to women here. If I can't get was a person, it would be all of those motherfuckers. And I wish they would have left a whole lot sooner. As a matter of fact, you could have shut your whole mouth and just dipped the out like a regular person would. But you sitting here pleading and crying like a grown-ass child. I'm gonna leave. I promise I'm gonna leave. Get the out. I don't give a You can leave. You can hurry up and run. Go tell that. But you giving off broke vibes because you still here. We know you broke, bitch. We know.
I do have a question for the Passport bros. When are y'all gonna take charge and lead your own movement? Like, instead of sitting on this app gaslighting every fucking body, when are y'all just gonna leave? Like, y'all can't even lead yourselves out of the countries, but y'all want to lead the families. I'm hella confused on what's happening here. When are y'all actually going?
Assimilation, accommodation, adaptation. What happens when a man goes into a country and don't understand the schematic framework of that said country? And what happens to a man when they don't understand that other cultures that are not similar to America can be a detriment not only to their image, but also a detriment to movements that are more or less sustainable long term for the empowerment of all men. In this current show, we will explore the dynamics of Austin HOLLEMON, a YouTube phenom that has more or less been accosted in Brazil for false accusations of sex tourism. Also in this show, we will explore how men need to move as Brazil is actually going through a revolution, and that there are haters back here in America that have animus towards passport bros and men that travel abroad. Sit back, relax, and enjoy this show as I bring it to you live from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State. And I need you guys to remember this as we explore the dynamics of world travel, assimilation, accommodation, adaptation. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become an optimized male, and understanding how world travel and other cultures play a role into your evolution as a man is paramount as we explore the nuances of culture and masculinity. Be well.
Stay tuned.
Illusions become delusions when the evidence is presented and those that are involved with the evidence fail to adhere to or listen to the evidence that is presented before them. It appears that in this current time that many modern men are looking for love outside of Western America. And because of that, many black men are returning back to their ethnic roots as they are beginning to explore areas outside of America. And those areas outside of America often consist of countries like Brazil. Salvador Bahia is a place in Brazil that has one of the largest African populations that was more or less a byproduct of the transatlantic slave trade. And in Brazil, many men are finding that these women are more suitable for marriage, that they're more wife-ready, and that they're a lot more cooperative because they have been conditioned and socialized to respect and respond to the authenticity and the authority of a masculine man. Men by nature are very simple creatures. But when men don't get the needs and the love and the respect that they want, 2 or 3 things actually happen. One of those things that happen is that they actually implode within. They become less productive, and they lack the power or the intestinal fortitude to become better versions of themselves. Modern men are actually caught up in a quagmire when they have been conditioned to defer their power instead of demanding power. And because modern men have been conditioned to defer power, many men actually self-sabotage themselves in relationships because they don't demand anything. In this expose and in this show, we're going to explore the dynamics of Brazilians, and we're going to explore how Brazilians are actually black people, as the title of the show is Your Mama is Black and So Are Brazilians, because many times in relationships and many times when men try to defend their position, many times modern women will say of the African American ilk that your mama is black is a form of shaming language. And that shaming language often is a byproduct of a condition that I created called death, meaning they deny the evidence, they become enraged when you present them with the evidence, they argue, do ad hominem attacks when you present them with the evidence, and when you become more persistent in your pronunciations, they fight or flee. And because of that, many men are saying that are single, millennials and zennials, that they don't want to be in relationships anymore. And because of that, many men are going back to their roots through companies like African Ancestry and African DNA to get a schematic framework of where their African past is from. And from that African past, many are trying to use the evidence to link them with women of Brazilian, Colombian, and also Venezuelan cultures to get Afro women or women of Afro-Colombian, Brazilian, and Afro-Latin descent to become traditional wives. With the evidence presented, many men are under the guise and understand that women in general are the same everywhere you go. But because of the information that they have been given, many men are saying that I would rather take my chance with women from foreign countries than to deal with some of the toxic behaviors in America. I want you guys to sit back, relax, and enjoy and explore the evidence as we talk about your mama is black and so are Brazilians, because Brazilians are of the African extract, and Brazilians are actually suitable women for men of African ancestry to marry if they deem to do so. And often in these shows, we tell men that whenever you go abroad, if you're a sucker for love in America, you will be a sucker for love abroad. But because the evidence is presented, many men will begin to explore why their love and why relationships are vital if they want to get the women that they want and the resources presented. But I want you guys to remember this. If it ain't 7, it ain't kosher. If it ain't kosher, it ain't right. There are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized, and learning and understanding their needs through world travel is paramount to the efficacy of a man. Be well, enjoy the show and enjoy the evidence as we explore the dynamics of Brazilians, or if Brazilians are black or of African descent. Be well. All right, guys, we're going to have a good one on tonight as we talk about, more or less ask ourselves the question, is Austin HOLLEMON being targeted? If he is being targeted, how should men move in these modern times as the passport movement is not only growing, but there also are haters that are trying to more or less minimize the movement? Get the pens and paper ready, guys. I have a fiery show on tonight. Let's do it. Coming to you live once again from the greatest state in the Union, the Tar Heel State, where the topography is serene, pristine, and verdant green, where every day is Father's Day, and where manhood is part of hills and valleys, victories and failures. And whereas men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies, but tonight we come together as allies of a common cause, only to dissipate once the crisis is over. Now listen, I'm about to drop some fire for your mind. But before I drop that fire, let's explore why we are doing the Manhood Chronicles. All right, guys, we're going to have a good one on tonight. I have some special guests in the background. We're going to be talking about this current situation with Austin HOLLEMON. And we're going to ask ourselves the question, is Austin HOLLEMON under attack? Is there a misunderstanding, or is it more or less the more things change, more things remain the same? What I want to convey on tonight is this, guys, that when you go to another culture, you got to understand that you're no longer in America. You have to respond in a manner that's consistent with that said culture. There are 3 variables that are important in helping people get into a culture and understanding their culture. One step is called assimilation. Assimilation is when you learn to blend into that culture and understand what that culture is saying, and you strive to understand the laws, the customs, and all the important things that are vital to helping you survive in that culture. Human beings by nature have to evolve, and part of the evolution is actually assimilating, which means to blend in. The second step is called accommodation. Accommodation simply means I'm going to pull off things from my culture, and when I get to their culture, I'm going to get into their culture and adapt and more or less take parts of their culture into my life and add it to my life instead of going into their culture thinking that I'm better. One of the biggest things Americans got to do when they travel abroad, they have to learn how to assimilate, to accommodate that said culture, and to adapt. But because if you don't, it could be a matter of life and death, but also the marring of your image. And I think that, this young man, Austin Holleman, even though his intentions were noble, perhaps Austin should have listened to some of the admonitions of the elders to some degree as it relates to family. I precisely will say in respect, I don't think the young man, what he did was the promotion of sex tourism per se. I think he gave an honest assessment about American women and also Brazilian women. But however, in other cultures, you can't do excessive filming or excessive, campaigning or whatever, because what your audience might want as it relates to what they want, it might not be applicable to that culture. And see, guys, just like, men are under attack here in America, you got women like, Gloria Allred, but also you have a woman by the name of Stephanie Ribeiro. And shout out to a couple of the brothers that gave me some information on Stephanie Ribeiro. You guys know who you are. But it's important, guys. It's important because as we move forward as men, as we continue to evolve as men, we have to dissect and break down how to move in foreign cultures and foreign lands, because there are saboteurs to the movement that will have no other joy or delight but to cast a negative shadow on a movement that's more or less predicated to helping men become the better versions of themselves. As I told you guys, consistent with Dr. William Glasser, power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival is paramount to helping men get the best outcome to the vital. But however, there are people that have alternative agendas. They'll take what you say, just like they do here in America. They'll twist things out of context to fit their agenda and also to fit their narrative. And so therefore, you have to be very vigilant in your pursuits. We know that there are guys that travel abroad and, they do things that are unsavory. I know somebody said the sound is low. We know there are guys that travel abroad and do things that are unsavory. And because they do things that are unsavory, it's not always beneficial to their well-being. So we understand that. However, to the young cats that are listening, you have to listen to the OGs, listen to the pioneers, listen to the brothers that have come before you, and take heed to what they're trying to say, because some want to sabotage what you guys are trying to do. They want to sabotage the movement. They want to sabotage growth. They want to sabotage what we're trying to say and do, because they don't want to see you liberated. They don't want to see you have power. And so understanding how to assimilate, which means to blend in, understanding the need to accommodate, but also understanding the need to adapt. Adaptation is the last stage to help you become a better version of yourself. And once you adapt, then you can work through that culture and you can reduce or minimize anything that someone is trying to do as it relates to you becoming the better version of yourself. Because there are people that have such a visceral hate towards those that travel. It's appalling. And some will argue that they're going to try to do everything in their power to perhaps pass legislation here in the States to prohibit the passport bro movement. But I got some esteemed guests in the back, brothers that were in Brazil. Actually, they were in Brazil with me and got boots on the ground. They know what I'm talking about. They understand the accusation. They understand the culture. And we're going to get deep into it. But in the meantime, guys, I need you to hit the like button. If you have not donated to the channel, donate to the channel. If you don't have any money to share this, share the stream. If I can get 5 to 10 to share the stream, it will be extremely important, because we're going to have some fire for your mind on tonight. It's going to be a
fire
show, a show that I'm playing off cusp. But there's been a lot of consternation. I've been getting a lot of information in the background from various brothers as I was in Brazil last year. And Austin has been on my show twice, and I respect the young man. But at the same time, the youth need to listen. They need to listen. And I think the more you guys listen as it relates to traveling in foreign lands, it'll not only be better for you, but it'll be better for the movement, because you're not bigger than the movement. I'm not bigger than the movement. No one is bigger than the movement when it comes down to male empowerment and masculinity. That's why it's so important to make sure that you're not being targeted. And I'm going to tell you guys something. Many live for the moment that say, got them. They want to find anything that they can find to minimize what men are doing abroad. And guys, we know that for years, white men have traveled abroad and dated or more or less did whatever. White women have been doing it, going to Gambia and Jamaica, black women. But all of a sudden, when black men begin to travel It's a problem. It's a problem, guys, because once again, they don't want to see you in power. They don't want you to have power in relationship. They don't want you to have power in anything or any idiom as it relates to moving forward. And that's why it's so important for you guys as men to make sure you humble yourself, make sure you understand customs and traditions so that you can meander through the maze to minimize any scrutiny that some of these radicals are saying, or more or less trying to impede upon or stop your masculinity as a man. So assimilation, which is a byproduct of mental health, accommodation, and also adaptation. And so we're gonna get into it, guys. We're gonna read through some of the intricacies of this lady by the name of Stephanie Ribeiro, and we're gonna talk about what this woman has been saying and what she's been doing, because it's obvious that Stephanie has an agenda against the passport bros. And some of the brothers that are in the background, once again, they got firsthand experience on what's going on. So let's look at Stephanie Ribeiro. Stephanie Ribeiro is similar to Gloria Allred. She said that Brazilian women aren't objects. We are always treated by foreigners as prostitutes, and many are simply in our country for sex tourism. We will report you to the relevant authorities if you continue with your jokes. We have women police stations, and we have our own laws. But here's a caveat. You can't solicit anybody unless somebody comes to you. In many of those countries, American aspects are not necessarily soliciting. Now, we know that there are some dusty men that go abroad and mess up the ecosystem. But the majority of the time, these women are coming to American men for money, love, and also whatever. So they're the ones that are doing the soliciting. They're the ones that are doing the invitations. And there are some men that acquiesce, and there are some that don't. But the point is, it's the victim narrative and the victim mindset, because they don't understand the culture. So they paint foreign cultures as like these people are just poor, they don't have anything else to do, and American expats are just going over, taking advantage of them, and then messing up their ecosystem. And we know that some men, when they travel abroad, they mess up the ecosystem. They do too much because they still simping. They don't know how much worth they have. And what it does, it makes those women think that they're better than what they really are, which in essence, in their ecosystem, they won't be getting those things. And so this is her attack on Austin HOLLEMON. And I'm going to show you guys the evidence from the news where, Austin has been under attack. They said they got women's police stations. So the guys laughing, saying, oh, Lord. But once again, this is a response to Austin HOLLEMON. And Austin, if you are listening, I will solicit to you, young man, to check in with the OGs, man, and just listen and learn and grow. You started a movement in itself that's brilliant, but at the same time, you're still young and you're still growing, and you need to understand that there are consequences if you don't listen to the elders. He said that most women in Brazil or for sale are just facts. Prostitution is a way of life down there. This sounds like I don't know if this is a person. It's same as the Colombia or DR. I don't know if this person is a person down there or not. But as you can see, she has a visceral hatred towards Austin HOLLEMON. She has a visceral hatred towards him. She is a rabid feminist in her country. And as you guys can see from some of the comments louder for the passport bros in the back, which what they're trying to do, they're trying to invalidate what you guys are doing because it's about power. They don't want you, many of them. They don't want to honor you and respect you as men, but they still want the power. This woman said they're going to know your comments, though. They love the echo chambers. And so, once again, it's anything to minimize what men are trying to do. They always pick things and take things out of context for their own vainglory. This young man says, funny how y'all love to say y'all don't care about passport bros, which is true. And what they are doing, but y'all willing to go as far as calling the police on us, right? Somebody said, please report him. He's a creep. That's what somebody said. And like I said, guys, I got firsthand knowledge of this situation. I know people in the background, OGs, we've had conversations. And that sentiment was the same as mine, that this young man didn't do anything wrong per se. But he should have been more astute when it came down to the culture and understanding the culture. This person said, officer, that man over there interested in sex, arrest him now. I don't want sex, so none of these other women want it either, right? And so what they're doing, they're painting a false narrative. But if you ever travel abroad, you will understand and know that a lot of these women have an agenda. Some trying to manipulate what they call gringos. And I don't listen to Austin as much as I used to listen to him, but I do drop in periodically. And Austin's interviews is really no different than some of the other brothers I know that interview people. Austin made content based on his followers per se, not necessarily content for the sake of content. He did it for his channel, but at the same time, when OGs were giving you game, perhaps, Austin, I say this to you in all respect, you should have been more careful and listened to what they were saying. Because if you don't understand the culture and how to move in that culture, it can be a detriment to yourself. I'm going to pull up also an email that one of my friends gave me, guys, hold tight. And we're going to talk about, I'm going to show you guys what that email is saying about this situation. And actually, I got it from two people. And we're going to read through what the accusations are as they are, if they have some type of animus towards Austin HOLLEMON. So hold tight. Let me stop this for a minute. Hold tight, guys. Let me stop sharing this screen. And let me pull this one up. And we're going to read through these comments about Austin HOLLEMON. So, guys, this is in Portuguese, I believe, in Bahia, Salvador, Bahia, and it's talking about the Austin HOLLEMON situation. And as you guys can see, here's the accusations that they said against the young man. So basically, they took what he said and they ran with it. Hold tight. So this is what it says. I don't know. This is in Portuguese. I'm trying to find the one that's in English. But it was written in English. But in the meantime, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. Let me find the one that's written in English, guys. And in the meantime, I'm going to bring my guests up and we're going to break this thing down. So in the meantime, Chris Strongheart, how you doing, sir? And also my man, Ken Hawata. How you brothers doing, man? Let's break this thing down concerning traveling in general and what men need to know and understand, Ken, and also Chris, as they travel. We all traveled together in Brazil last year. All of us traveled in Brazil. Chris, you traveled. So Ken, you traveled as well. And I want you to give the guys some just practical information about traveling and also being in other people's culture.
Well, first of all, can everybody hear me? My mic coming in good?
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. First off, Coach, I have that article in English if you want.
Yes, sir. Please. You can either read it or you can send it to me.
You can either share my screen. I can read it because I literally have all my information from last night right here. So if you want it in English,
send it to me in the chat, man, and we'll make it work, bro.
All right, I'll try to see how I can email it to you. But to answer your question, I'll start off by saying you do want to make sure that when you're going to these different countries, you want to make sure that you have an understanding of the temperature of how things are going down over there. I mean, in this situation, I want to start off by saying nobody is up here hating on Austin. Nobody is hating on the brother. Everybody up here is a passport bro. We respect brothers moving, and having free will to go into any place they want to go into. But in regards to this situation specifically, there were certain things that, certain individuals tried to get at him about and talk to him and, give him insights on, yo, fam, that may not be the best way to go about doing that. Be careful doing X, Y, and Z. Be caution. You know what I'm saying? You're putting the camera in front of certain females. You know what I mean? In the problems that we run into is you run into the old guard versus kind of like some of the newer guard. So you got a lot of the younger dudes are like trying to come in and they want to do the passport thing and come in, but you don't want to disregard the information or the knowledge that is trying to get handed down and try to address certain things and be like, fam, that is not the best way that you want to move in what you're trying to do, because brothers who have been before you have been there. We know, we've seen it. We understand, like, you know, a lot of things down there are different, you know, because a lot of people want to get into, oh, well, it's my rights. I'm not breaking any laws. I'm not doing this. I'm not, fam, it's a different culture. You're playing in a away game. You're trying to justify people's morals versus laws and stuff like, well, I'm an American. This ain't, fam, you're not in Miami. You're not in America. You're not running the same streets, you know what I'm saying, that you would be in Atlanta somewhere. Oh, we just doing a little casual. Nah, because you an outsider. It's different. Okay, it's different. So don't go around here, you know what I mean? Don't don't let your followers get you in trouble, because if something happens to you out there and you ain't listening to the OGs, you ain't listening to what nobody's trying to tell you. If it comes down to that, something happens, can't nobody help you, right? Because, you know, we had been reaching out to Austin to prevent a situation like this, okay, to not have him have to go through this. And as far as we know, he had to hop out the country. Okay, this is the last thing that we needed to happen, because just so everybody knows, Stephanie Ribeiro, she ain't no just random blogger feminist. She is a big TV media personality down there in that country. This is national news. Okay, and I think people need to take into context. She's not some random feminist that you battling back and forth with on one of these panels that some of y'all brothers be in. This is a big deal. Okay, she is a big deal. I'm talking sitting on TV with famous Brazilian folks once a week type, CNN level type ish. Okay, she ain't no lightweight. Okay, so to try to beat your chest and be like, well, I'm an American, I should be able to say this and that, and I ain't doing nothing wrong, fam. You have to understand the temperature of where you are. Nobody's trying to spoil your fun. This ain't about views and people hating and this and that. No, these are brothers who have been here before you, who are trying to advise you the safest way to move. Because I'm gonna say this: what if it was different and somebody from the favelas would have ran up on him? Because this gets deeper. Now, what if they would have ran up on him because the women feel disrespected? Okay. Now, what if somebody would have ran up on him, an uncle, a cousin, or brother? Something happens to Austin, and now what? The passport bros and everybody else has to be accountable and say, now we have to come here and now we got to make a statement because something happened to Austin. And then everybody's gonna be like, see, y'all passport bros. And then now we have to come in and be accountable for Austin. When everybody was telling him beforehand, family, chill with that. It's not, nobody's saying you can't go have your fun. But understand the temperature and understand the dynamics of what you're saying and what you're doing. Because when you put microphones in front of these girls' faces, you make a few comments and then you cut the video and you keep it pushing, you're creating a narrative about them that everybody may not agree with. Yeah. Even they might not agree, because I'm telling you, there's a lot of women down there who consider themselves feminists. Right. And what you're doing is you're taking a war that is here in the States down there. And it's a different ball game down there. It ain't the same. All right. This ain't just some red pill versus whatever. No, it's a bit different down there. Their country right now is politically divided. They're going through a lot of issues, and we don't need to be jumping into it. We don't need to be saying, well, I should be able to do. No, because now you're picking a side. And now when passport brothers and black men show up to Brazil, guess what? They say, oh, you're on that team. Oh, yeah. No, it's game time on you passport Negroes. Yeah, we got smoke with y'all because y'all's Austin HOLLEMON is this. And for some reason, they see him as the leader of passport bros. No, he's not. No, he's not. But this is what we have to deal with. The leader of passport bros is not out here making moves where it's a go on the American gringo. And we can't do nothing. We're not nobody. He's not listening to nobody, so we can't do nothing. But that's why it's such a big deal, is because he's wearing our face. He's carrying the name, and they say he's the leader. So that's why you have a lot of vets who feel a type of way. Okay. So before I go too far, Ken, what's up, fam? I'm gonna let you go ahead and get in.
What's up, Chris, man? Can y'all hear me? You can hear me pretty good?
Yeah, I got you. Okay,
okay. But yeah, man, to kind of piggyback on what you said, Kush, thanks for having me on. And I spent about a month down there. This is probably in November. And I was down there, man, in the middle of this political thing that's going on down there, man, because I never experienced it, because this is my first time being down there for a month. And the tensions and emotions were very high, man. because you got people that's all Bolsonaro, and you got people that's Lula, and I got to kind of just get a feel for what they was going through emotional, and it's a very sensitive subject, man. It's a very sensitive subject, and I hate that that Austin didn't take heed to a lot of the wisdom that some of the elders was trying to give them. That's why it's so imperative that you move a certain way, because we always got to stay on code as Black American men. We cannot derail and get off code. It's got people that then set things in place and in order for you to move a certain way and be unnoticed. You want to be unnoticed. You don't want attention, because just like you want attention, you got somebody down there that's looking for you, and they're gonna use you as an example. And unfortunately, man, it's Austin. I hate to say that. You know what I'm saying? We don't get the luxury, apparently, of making a mistake. We can't go down there and be like, oh, my bad. No, your ass gonna be made an example of. You know, they about to have it at us. And but like you were saying, Chris, man, I think the Gen Zs need to be aware that when you going outside these countries, you're in a different country, my brother. You're not in the States. They're gonna tag off on your ass. Can I say that? You good? They're gonna tag off on you.
Yeah, here, keep going. You good?
Because they don't see you how you think they see you. They see money. They could hold you for ransom. Man, the list goes on. The list goes on. So you putting yourself in that position, you know, that's the situation you want to be involved in, man. And I felt bad for Austin, even though, you know, cracking the whip on them, making them understand, like, hey, man, maybe I need to change my format up and change the game up, because these people are after you. They after you. And I hate it went down like that, but hopefully he can learn from it and grow and move on. But as of right now, man, the block is hot. And like I was saying to Kush, like, you gotta understand something. I feel like these feminists, they talk all across the damn world.
Right.
They are interconnected. They got sleeper cells waiting for situations like this. They like,
hold tight, kid, because you got some good stuff. I just spoke to the young bull in the background, but we're gonna lay low for now. But in the meantime, shout out to my man Gregory Scott for that $10 super chat. Send me that link, man. I want to read it, man. Send it to me in the back, man. Send me that link so I can read it, man. Shout out to man Gregory Scott. He said what is very good about the Passport Bros movement is that it's not centered around one individual, such as Kevin Samuel, David Carroll, for an example, no doubt. And that's a deal, right? 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 Well, it's a visceral hate, guys, to say the least. And also shout out to my man, what's his name? Who my biggest worry is that the situation with Austin will tarnish our image in Brazil as Black American men. And I appreciate it, man. And you know, once again, I don't think the young man was down there promoting that negative aspect of tourism. I think what he was doing, he was just trying to give content to his people. Somebody took it and ran with it. And Chris, if you got the arc, I'm going to read through it, man. And then we're going to break it down with Ken. Then Ken, I want you to finish cooking. Since you got some good information. Ken, you got firsthand knowledge, man. You were boots around. You were boots around in Brazil with me. But I think you were in Brazil a couple of times around when Austin was there, I think. And then also, Chris, you've been back and forth. And what do you want to tell the audience, Ken, about the culture and some of the things you learned about Brazilian culture that you had to adapt to because, you know, more or less, how can I say, you were more or less ignorant of certain aspects of their culture, but you had to learn so that you can evolve. So you learn about Brazilian culture, Ken, where you had to evolve.
Well, just being down there, this particular time I was down there for about a month, it was more of a solo trip. So, you know, I wanted to take heed and kind of embrace Brazil in a different way.
Right.
But, you know, it's one of those things you just got to be cognizant of your surroundings. You got your head's always got to be on a swivel. You in Brazil, for crying out loud. But at the same time, one thing I learned about the women down there, you have women that understand arrogance in all different aspects. you don't even have to speak the language, and your body language will let them know you're an arrogant person. They will vibe with you, and if their energy ain't aligned, they're gonna call you out, and that's when the whole gringo effect. And like, this is the gringo we notice. We know gringos are like this, and a lot of them are gonna stifle away. They're gonna backpedal on you. Some, the ones that want, they want your money. It is what it is on that perspective. Right. But just case in point, a lot of times, even if you probably monitor some Austin interviews, some of them was a bit cringeworthy because the energy of Austin was a bit telling. It was a bit aggressive to a certain degree as far as the arrogance of, okay, maybe this interviewer wasn't really feeling this conversation. Let me pipe down and drop off. And that was a lot of the elders was trying to kick game to him. I guess at the same time, he just kind of wanted to do it his way. And unfortunately, his way is the situation right now we have.
But Ken, let me address something real quick that I know a lot of people in the chat are saying and thinking. The brother right here, Andrew Baker, the comment he's making, no one is after Austin. He's being falsely accused of something he's not doing. Let me go ahead and speak to this real quick, okay? We're talking about false accusations and things like this, and he ain't legally doing nothing wrong. Let me explain something to y'all, okay? For those of you who have not been to Brazil, for those of you who have not even traveled and left the country, and for those of you who have not walked the same streets that Austin is walking right now, because me and Ken both have been there, what we're trying to explain to y'all is we're talking about cultural differences and moralities. They are very, very sensitive to their image, okay? Austin is playing with the image of these people and they don't like it. Yeah. Damn what you're trying to say as far as accusations. False accusations don't matter in this regard. The media in that area is outlining him as a certain type of person based off the content and this woman pushing this agenda, okay? You're trying to say, we should be able to fight this because, he ain't legally doing nothing. No, fam, listen. Let me tell you something. The thought of the people and the movement of the culture, they can kick off and get rowdy about something, and it don't have to be legally. Let me tell you something. They get ready to, I said it on my live last night. They get ready to burn down half the city over a football game when they win. Yeah. Okay, right? Yeah. Down there, all right, it's different, family. You're taking an American mindset of right and wrong and trying to apply it into a place where things are different. We're not trying to say that Austin is 100% doing what she says he's doing. It's the fact that she is speaking on him, period. That's what we're more or less trying to outline, is the fact that he's being targeted, period. Right. And we were trying to stop that from happening, period. That's what we're getting at. This is not something now where we're going to rally up enough people to start going against this feminist and we're going to debate and no, this is not that. And it will not be that, because now what have you done? Now you have made a new battleground down in Brazil. And the thing is that is not what it's supposed to be. Passport bros and brothers who have traveled, for those of y'all who are new to this, men have been traveling and setting up foundations, networks, resources, and good rapport with people in these places for a long time. Long before there was even a phrase called passport bros. Black men in general have been working, networking, making things happen overseas. We never have discussed politics with these gentlemen. We don't get into their business and their affairs down there. It's a part of the understanding that we have with these people that we network with. We don't get into their political business. We don't talk about Lula and Brasario and all that. We don't get into that because we understand that's their business. But guess what happens when you want to start trying to say, we need to stand up and fight for Austin's right to do this down in Brazil? No, because now you're creating a battleground and now you're taking sides. And now for those of you who don't travel down there, you don't care. But for those of us who have found comfort down there, we know people down there, got relationships down there, it's a different story. We're not looking to go down there and have to fight a war that y'all keep fanning the flames of because you want to take an American mindset to a place where we call a relaxation vacation option and where we go to get away. We're not looking to go down there and have to constantly fight because people in the chat want the red meat. Like, this is not America, people. This is a different situation.
So hold tight, young man. Thank you. I want to add to what you're saying, and shout out to Andrew Baker, always showing love. I think what Andrew is saying, no one is after Austin. He is just being. So the truth is, he is being falsely accused of something. But however, it was exacerbated, sadly, because he didn't pipe down when he should have piped down. So they are after him in a sense because this woman took a comment and ran with it and took it out of context. But at the same time, it could have been minimized, if he had to more or less put things in context. And that's why I'm going to say to you, young cats, when y'all travel abroad, man, listen to the OGs. We're not trying to take your shine. They're not. You got cats like Ken. Ken ain't trying to take your shine. Chris, like a little brother, we're not trying to take your shine. We're doing it because we care about you. And we don't want to more or less invalidate men traveling abroad. As I said earlier, assimilation, accommodation, adaptation. That's how human beings evolve and become better people. Guys, do me a favor, share this stream. If you have not donated to the channel, donate to the channel. We're going to have a good show tonight. Send me that link, man. I want to read the information. Yeah. If you want to, this is me. Where did you send it, Chris? Private chat?
I send it to, well, maybe I could send it in the private chat. Hold on.
Send it in the private chat, and I'm going to blow it up and read it, man.
Chris, man. Yeah, I was just
go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
Just want to piggyback on that because you're not just representing yourself when you go out of the country, man. You're representing people that already paved the way for you. Just because you can move a certain way, it's not because you just showed up. It's because of people that came before you made a way so you can move that way. So you need to respect that because when you get out of line, you're not even going. You're gonna have your elders gonna check you, but you don't want the locals to come see you and they feel like you out of line.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you like this: I was in Brazil in some of the favela parties. They don't put like this. They community are like they protect their own community. What I'm trying to say to you, they don't have traffic lights in these favelas. They have somebody that's got automatic weapons directing traffic, making sure people get to where they need to go.
Yes.
Do you really want that kind of drama in your life? Because America ain't coming to save you. Because that embassy ain't. You shouldn't even been around. I'm telling you, it's serious. It's real serious.
And to give credit to Andrew, Andrew is a good friend of mine. Andrew is well traveled. I believe Andrew is a veteran. So I think, Andrew, if you could pop on to some point, I'd love to hear your perspective as well. Andrew, I respect you, brother. And you got some good pointers. So I respect what you're saying. I think there's a confluence of thought. I think you both are agreeing with one another, but just in a different way. Chris, why do people need to be vigilant about this Stephanie Ribeiro woman? Why do they need to be very vigilant? And Chris, send me that information, man. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to get that to you. I don't know why I can't paste it in the chat, but I'm trying to get it to you.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in regards to damn it, I'm trying to copy link, and this should be able to work. Hold on, let me drop this. See if I can drop this in the private chat. If not, I can read it, but I know you want to present it, or we can share my screen because I do have it right here on my screen. But in regards to Stephanie Ribeiro, she is like right now, if you go to her Instagram, 129,000 followers. She's a big name. She, like I said, she works for, I believe it's called the GNT, which is a global news television down there. Mundo Negro is one of like their big Instagram sites for news within like Black culture and Black community down there. Big thing. That's a big site. Like I said, she's no lightweight. She's not somebody that needs to be taken lightly. Like somebody told me, if she gets on your ass, you need to get a lawyer. I was straight up told, if she gets on you, you need a lawyer because she's got power. She ain't no random blogger, no little mad feminist about passport bros in somebody's chat. No, she's a TV personality. She's a real deal. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it reached this height is what exactly we try to prevent, because like Ken was saying, we do have these women are linking up. Like there are plenty of American Black women who know Brazilian women. There are plenty Brazilian women who went to school in the States, and they know exactly the temperature of the manosphere, the red pill stuff, the Kevin Samuels, all that. So when they see somebody who's on that type of time down there, oh yeah, we've been waiting to get you passport, niggas. Yeah, we've been waiting on y'all. Yeah. We've been waiting. They know that we talk about the places that we go. Mm-hmm. They are ready and prepared to start moving against Passport Bros in a legal way. Brother Dennis Sperling literally said, now I keep calling it, about a month ago, he said, they're going to start trying to put sexual allegations on y'all as far as sexual misconduct on y'all. They're going to start trying to put people trafficking on y'all. They're going to start trying to put things on y'all. What look, and you're talking about, oh, well, if I didn't do nothing wrong and, they're just allegations. They don't have any charges on Andrew Tate. Okay. What happened? Tate was in Romania. You're thinking about American law. Let me tell you something. Romania's law is different. They went to go pick Tate up based off what a chick said when she was lying to her boyfriend about why she was at Andrew Tate's party, and she got caught on Instagram. She lied to her boyfriend because he saw it, and this simp called the embassy, and then they that's how the whole raid and everything started on Tate's house. The thing is just that, Tate was saying what he was saying on the internet, and he wasn't legally wrong for anything, but they were building a dossier. They were building something up to where they could go get him, and they just needed a hairpin trigger to set it off. And guess what? Now he's in custody. Guess what? There are no charges on him, but guess how Romanian law works? From month to month, okay, his attorney has to go talk to the judge, and they have to come up with an agreement, or he has to prove or beg for Tate to be released while they still go through everything. Romanian law is different. They said, oh, we're going to go pick him up first, and then we're going to go work everything out. That's why I'm trying to illustrate to brothers who have not traveled, who don't travel, to the younger ones, okay, who are following, the likes of Tate and following the likes of HOLLEMON, to understand this is why you want to be careful how you move. Yeah. This is why.
Yeah, and just like you said, Chris, and the reason why you want to be careful how you move, young man, is because we are targets. And I'm gonna let you know how we are. I'm gonna let you know how we are targets. You probably got more, I guess I would say, homosexual gay shit going on in Brazil for us from a sexual standpoint than heterosexual shit. And they let you know that they're targeting us, because they won't even tamper with the gays at all. They get a pass. But if they can catch a black man going back and forth down there, they're targeting us, and they're picking us off for a reason. And we gotta be aware of that.
I agree, man. And they're going through a revolution, where not only was their president targeted, but I think it's also a revolution going on in Colombia as well, to some degree, with liberal ideologues, man. And it's really sad, man, that this stuff is almost like witchcraft. That anytime men get together to enjoy their lives, it's always under the microscope. Either you got simps to run their mouths, try to minimize what men are doing, or you got rebellious women that are hyenas. They don't respect them and don't want them, but at the same time, they want to damn tell them what to do, which in my essence, in my best estimation, is a mental illness. It's a form of because it lacks self-awareness. But Ken, starting with you, to say that, let's talk about, I'm going to start with Chris. What did Austin do wrong, Chris, and what did he do right? Because as I said earlier, Chris, there have been other content creators that have done the same thing. But what did he do wrong? And maybe you said it more or less, but what did he do wrong, but what could he have done different, to say the least? Go ahead, Chris.
Well, as far as right and wrong, to be honest, morally, I can't say that I see anything he specifically did, quote unquote, wrong.
Right. So let me ask you this question: Do you think he was promoting bad behavior? I don't think he was. But do you think he was promoting bad behavior? I don't think he was.
I personally don't think that he was, and a lot of us, we don't. Right. But guess what?
Right.
Listen. We're not the voice of the Brazilian people.
We're not.
We are not. Okay. I personally don't have any issue with Austin. I personally don't have any, beefs with Austin. Okay. And like somebody said in the chat, I do hope he's watching. I don't personally have any issue with Austin. I'm not going to say he specifically did anything wrong, because he didn't.
Right.
But the thing is, he was warned about how the people will react to what he's doing. Right. That is the thing that has gotten him caught up. It's not to say that he's broken their laws or anything like that. And of course, he didn't do anything like that. He didn't break in anybody's house. He didn't do nothing like that. But the thing is that your image is going to be everything when you're moving around and traveling with these people, because you got to think about it. He's down there in Bahia. Who knows him? He's got his homie with him. And okay, who else knows you? You're in a territory where if something goes wrong, you're an outsider. You want to be very clear and you want to make very sure because you don't speak the language. See, we see clearly because we know Austin. We're like, oh yeah, it ain't that bad to us. But listen, we don't speak Portuguese. Not like that. They're not listening to this. They're listening to Stephanie. It matters. Okay. This is why in these situations we would tell someone as a young man, you want to be careful with the content you put out about these people. Okay. This is why, because if they get a hold of it, twist the narrative, it's not like, oh, let me just invite her on the panel and let me just clear my name. Family, understand that the energy of the media is going to move so fast. You won't even speak the language. You're not going to have time to recover before they badmouth your name. It's not even in terms of necessarily right and wrong. You know, this is image related stuff. And how we need to be very careful about the bridges that we have built with these people and about the work that has been gotten put together and everything that has been done and all the stuff that the veterans before him have done. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something. If you call yourself a passport, bro, if you call yourself somebody who cares about the movement, you are going to defend it at all costs. Because for those who don't know, this is a war.
It's a war, right.
On your ass. Whatever you do, this ain't no all cakes and rainbows and candy land. These feminists are on your ass. And they're ready to do what it takes to get you put down or taken care of any type of way that they can, because they understand that this rises to a higher agenda of what those who have real political power. They understand that the mentality of men is changing and they can't control it. So when they see these free thinking black men making moves, they're shaking in their boots because they don't know what we're going to do. We need to be very careful about how we move in our image sake, because this is a battleground. This is not a game.
Right. Well, also was a soft target. He definitely was a soft target, or maybe even a hard target, to say the least, because they were trying to make an example out of him. And sadly, the level of animus this woman have towards this young man is appalling. Andrew, if you can at some point, Andrew, I would love for you to come on, man, and chop it up with the brothers, man. Your insight being in the military is warranted. So, Andrew, at some point, brother, if you can, or you feel comfortable, I would love for you to come on, but if you can't because of job reasons, I understand. Andrew Baker says, salute, coaching. You know I don't get on panels to argue with anyone. If you are afraid of this, you need to stay in America. I'm an expert on the subject and did this when I was in the military. This is just media hype. I appreciate it, Andrew Baker. And that's the deal, right? That's next deal, right? World Traveler the 5, he said, I even had an article of this on World Global's Brazilian version of CNN. Send that on World Traveler if you can, brother. I'd love to get that. And then also, let me see. Next person, somebody else send something. And so, Andrew Baker, because of your kindness, brother, you are Andrew Baker, the #1 sponsor, Andrew Baker. Right, #1 sponsor of the stream, Andrew Baker. Thank you, sir. One of the concerns, starting with, is that when men travel, Chris, they're going down there messing the ecosystem up. Now, let's be real, Chris. I want you to break this down. I already know what the answer is, but I'm gonna let you do it because you've been doing a good job. Are men, for the most part, soliciting to women, or are women soliciting to men?
You say, are they soliciting to us?
Are men soliciting those women and being predatory to those women per se? And we know there might be a small percentage. Or would you say that women are soliciting gringos for services, but also for finances or whatever to be taken care of?
Well, I mean, nobody is going down there hunting anybody. I mean, you know, they're making themselves available as far as, you know, hey, let's hang out, stuff like this. It's not like, you know, there's this force where, you know, we're forcing these females or women to do anything, you know what I mean, like that, or presenting or projecting them to be, you know, whatever. Um, you know, that's not the nature of how things are going down there. I mean, it's cool,
Right.
it's copacetic, everything is okay, right? But the thing is that nobody is saying anything about that because brothers who've been down there before, they keep that contained. We know how to move down there. That's the difference. We're not putting cameras in front of these females' faces, asking them different questions as it pertains to things in America. That's what we're not doing. Because now all we're doing is just giving them something to bite on and say, oh, you gringos are coming down here looking for political talking points and stuff like this. We don't need to be in the business of doing that when we go to these places. Now, I'm not saying that you can't have interviews, and I'm not saying that you can't talk about certain things. I'm only saying that on one end, be very aware of what you're putting out, how you're putting it out, and who might get a hold of it. Okay? Because these things can be sensitive subjects, and these topics do matter. And to address your boy Andrew, I'm not looking to debate with him. The reason I say it's war because that is the seriousness of how deep this goes. And yeah, he said something about having a military background. Okay, I had a military background too, fam. I was in the military too. I understand the art of war. Thank you. And I do know what I'm talking about. You're welcome. So what I'm trying to express is the seriousness of this for those who just want to poo-poo it off as though it don't mean anything. If you have not been down there, if you have not traveled to foreign countries, and you have not dealt with the nature of people's having a sensitive culture, then I'm gonna need you to understand, and you need to listen to brothers who have been and frequent these areas. And this is why when we move in these groups, this is why we put out information and we let brothers know when we come into the groups, which is why we have a welcome dinner to explain to them, you're not at home anymore. Okay. Right. We built good relationships with these people. Let's not do anything that we're going to go down here disrespecting them or things like this. It's not about us trying to say, oh, I wasn't disrespecting you. It's about keeping the rapport. See, now this gets into business. Okay. This is having good business relationships with people, having good rapport. If you go to a culture in a country and they say, hey, we don't like this very much, could you not do that? What are you going to say? Like if you were going to go to an Arab country, are you going to start walking around putting cameras in people's faces, asking them how come all Muslims don't like pork? You going to do that? You going to do that and say, oh, it's my right as an American to say what I want to say to these people? No, you are in a different place. It's called Sharia law. It's a different territory. Now, yes, you're right as an American, this and that, but guess what? You still have to understand the climate and the nature of the people you're dealing with. Because if they start bad mouthing your name, it only takes this much for them to finally get something, to finally get you caught up if you don't take heed. Because what we're talking about is a snowball, right? Because it makes it harder for you to move if you want to be hard-headed about the nature of who these people are and their background, okay? We're talking about morals versus how things go in America and these morals and how they relate to different countries. You have to be careful and be very clear on how you move and do things like this. And that's the main point that we're sticking on here.
Right. Chris, let me read this comment real quick. Guys, listen, if you got a comment that you want me to read, donate to the channel. Just send me a super channel, send me a cash app if you want me to read a comment. But Jamal also traveled with us, and he said the real human trafficking industry is in Brazil, run by the mob and rich white elites. She would never raise a fist or word them at Coach, and I agree with that. What's your take on that, Ken, real quick? Go ahead, Ken.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely. Because this is a clear example of that. Because like I was saying earlier, man, like Ipanema, it's not like people don't know Ipanema and LeBlanc is structured for gays. As soon as you walk down there, you're gonna see gay flags, all this going on. But for the fact that the matter is how they pinpoint it structurally, and it was organized how they got Austin and how she specifically, because she could have combed through anybody, she could have combed through everything, but for some reason she pinpointed Austin. I'm pretty sure she looked at the barbers information, and she looked at a lot of other people too. But why Austin? You see what you get my drift, Kush? And it's if you think about it, man, that was really cynical. There's something really cynical about her, for her to go out her way to escalate that situation the way she did. Because even she know what he was doing. you know, everybody, because if you read through the comments, you also see some other Brazilian was just like, well, he really didn't do anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, or they were saying like, yo, chill. It ain't that serious. But you did have those influx of people like, yeah, you know, you need to respect our people. You need to respect our people. But you could tell she has power. She can influence these people to think what she wants them to think. And that's because of who she is.
I agree. Chris, I got something for you guys. Let's look at this real quick. We're gonna break it down. Hold tight. It's still in sad, it's still in a different form. But anyway, Stephanie Ribeiro exposes American who encourages sex tourism in Brazil on YouTube. And once again, guys, that's not what he was doing. He was talking about Brazilian women being easy, meaning being easy to talk to. But they took what he said out of context, they ran with it, and they used it as a means to justify and to excoriate him. But like Jamal around the world said, it don't talk about the elites that are running these movements behind the scene that are exploiting Americans to go over there and travel for whatever reason, because solicitation is real in those countries. But she won't talk about that. She don't talk about the women in her country that's actually doing the damn solicitation. She doesn't want to make it seem like he's over there promoting sex tourism. And that's not what he was doing. If he was doing it, I would say it live. Yeah, he was doing it. He was wrong. But that's not what he was doing. I got some more OGs behind the scene that's saying he didn't do it as well. And we're going to talk about it at some point. But Stephanie Ribeiro said, are women in Brazil easy? And see how she took it out of context, just like some of these rabid liberals. Is this the title of one video posted on YouTube channel by also HOLLEMON, an American who comes to our country to invite other men to venture out with our women here? This channel has more than 35,000 subscribers who follow his videos exposing Brazilian women, always with a sexual nature. So let's read some of these comments. This person said most women in Brazil are for sale. It's just facts. Prostitution is a way of life down there, same as in Colombia or the DR. Chris, what's your take on that, man?
Well, she is definitely making this into a bigger situation, because my intel is that she already had this agenda lined up, as far as she's already been this head feminist type person, and she was just looking for a reason. Okay.
Right.
Austin unfortunately fell into a trap that she had laid out, that obviously nobody's saying he intentionally ran into that, but it is unfortunate that our brother has now gotten caught up in this situation. Okay. First of all, let me make sure that everybody knows I'm not saying that I want to see this happen to this brother. I'm not saying that I want Austin to be, in harm's way and stuff like this. We on this side of the house, we're speaking and reaching out so nothing like this happened in the first place. That's where all this is coming from. So I don't have no hatred, no smoke toward the brother, and I do want to see him thrive. But now we're in a bit of a situation. It's a bit of a sticky situation he's gotten himself into. So now all we can do is use this as an example to show other brothers, this is why we advocate for being very careful how you move. Okay. All right. So this is not a hate campaign. This is not a smear campaign. I feel like the brother, he'll bounce back eventually and do well. It's just that this will probably be a bump in the road for him. Hopefully it don't get worse. But the problem is that we're dealing with someone who has legitimate power down there. And these are the type of things that, we don't want to have these situations happen like this. These are unfortunate situations. Well, these are the type of things that we like to warn brothers against, and we like to talk to them about, so they don't have to run into these situations. You know what I'm saying? So, my thing is just like, this is not a disrespect thing. And obviously, and to the brother in the chat, Andrew, man, like I'm not trying to debate with you, family. You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I support, our veterans. Like, this is not trying to say that, I'm poo-pooing, the brothers who have fight and died in real wars and stuff like this. But I'm trying to outline the severity of the situation for those who don't know. That's all. That's my main thing here. I'm trying to let people understand how serious it is, because there are so many who don't get it and don't understand how real it can get because now we've stepped into being on vacation to a political level. Just so y'all know, she called out the embassy on him. She tried to say, oh, if this gringo is only just traveling, how about we get the embassy down here to take care of him? You don't understand. She's calling in the government to deal with him. Okay. Yeah. This is not just some low-level blogger. I'm trying to tell y'all this, okay? I have the information right here in front of me. If Culture wants to share my screen and stuff like this, then I'll, if he wants me to read it, I can. But if you go through her information, again, Stephanie Ribeiro, that's spelled Stephanie Ribeiro. Check her out. You see her Instagram. You can translate it to English. Let me tell y'all something. Within when I was doing my information, when I did my live last night on my channel, I was looking at her Instagram. She had 128,000 followers. I checked it again an hour later. It was up another 1,000. Okay. There are a lot of people who co-sign what she says. There are a lot of people that when it comes down to the whole political situation, agree with her. Okay. We don't need to be getting caught up in that on foreign soil. We don't need to be dealing with that type of energy when we're out there because we're outnumbered. Okay. Y'all need to understand that street law is different out there. Favela law is different out there. Okay. Understand it's different in the favelas. All right. Now, if somebody has a big enough problem, yeah, I'm an American, this and that. Let me tell you something. If it really gets real, they can get at you even if you're an American. That's why you don't want to walk those roads. Start poking your chest out like, oh, I'm an American. They ain't gonna mess with me. I'll tell you something. Because all it takes is for one female to invite you to a party somewhere up in the favelas, and guess what? Policia won't be able to get to you quick enough. Yeah, it ain't not.
Yeah, we'll never see you again, fam.
If they really want to get at you, they know exactly how to do it. It's just hands off because they're just like, hey, we cool with y'all, we brothers, we don't have a reason. But guess what happens when they start feeling like you disrespecting their women? Bro, we love y'all. What are y'all doing? What are you doing? This is why you're careful about making sure that we keep good rapport. Okay, to my brother Andrew, you say you're military. You understand how we move when we were going into Afghanistan and Iraq. Okay, when we start making and building rapport with these foreign countries, we were very respectful of their cultures, were we not? When you had General so-and-so going to see the leaders of certain parts of groups of the Taliban, whatever you want to say, they took off their shoes, they put their weapons at the door, they sat down in the circles with them. Did they not? All right, don't start talking to me like I don't know about how military protocol works, especially when it comes to foreign protocols. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what I'm trying to express is that these are the reasons why we make sure that we have a good rapport, because it can get real. And if it gets real like that, there's nothing nobody can do, because I'm telling you, policia ain't gonna be able to, they ain't gonna, because they already, because so for those y'all who don't know, in the favela, whoever the big boss, or if you want to call him gang leader, whatever, that's who runs the favelas, really. And the police kind of have an agreement. All right, y'all stay up there. We're gonna protect the South Zone where the Americans are. Y'all keep it up there. We'll stay down here for the most part. Police, y'all don't have a big heavy presence in the favelas like that, dog. So if something happens, go ahead.
Yeah, hold on. Let me read this comment real quick. Shout out to my man Reese. He said, "Was Austin ever wrong for saying F you to that young lady and her saying that he was aggressive, throwing out for the camera?" I appreciate it. Go back to what's your take on that? What's your take on that, Ken? I know you said that sometimes the comments were cringe-worthy, man. So what's your take on that? And then I'm gonna finish reading through this. And Chris, I'll let you read through those comments in a minute. I'm gonna finish reading through this information first. But Ken, now give me your take on that real quick about what that person said. Go ahead, Ken.
I think just kind of like what I reiterated from a few minutes ago, just saying like, yeah, he has a tendency to. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction, just him being in the States for so long, just thinking, he could be very passive-aggressive and talking to people, because some of his interviews here in the States and how he's just kind of carry about. Like once I said, you can't do that in Brazil because people are going to spot that. They're going to see your body language, and they're going to generally tell if you're an unaggressive or aggressive person. And if you say something or do something out of line, somebody gonna notice it. And just as sure as day, unfortunately, one of the top feminists in fucking Brazil noticed it. Like, I'm just like, out of all fucking people in Brazil,
no, right?
It could have been anybody. Hell, Lula could have seen it and been like, whatever.
Yeah, but we ain't worried about it. Yeah, she got it. Damn,
man, she got it out of everybody. I was just like, wow. buy yourself a lottery ticket, Austin. If you own if you watching this, buy yourself a lottery ticket, dog. Because I don't think any of us could have stood out like that to get the top feminists in Brazil to do this, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I couldn't believe it, honestly, Chris, when I found out about it. I was like, damn, I just left there a few weeks ago. This motherfucker tore the town up.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, damn, dog, you making friends, huh? Damn, cuz, like, damn, you got feminist #1 on your ace, boy. She ain't playing either. Like, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people want to say, like, oh, yeah, well, we should go after her. Well, okay, this is the thing. We can sit here all day and say, yo, she's not right for doing that, this and that. But our voice across waters down there doesn't have any power. Us trying to go after her is not the same as us trying to deal with a domestic situation here in the States. If somebody comes across Passport Bros on false allegations here in the States trying to say a brother was doing something, yeah, we can have that debate all day. We can do that all day. We can bring up the facts, evidence, all day. Guess what? She's Brazilian, okay? She has media power. Her people are going to listen to her first, okay? Now, it's not to say that we are just at the whim of whatever she says. We first have to be mindful of staying out of the line of fire, okay? Because that's not our fight. If we had Passport Bro Brazilian correspondents who were as big as she was, well, hell yeah, run the information up to him, whoever our dude is, and go ahead and combat the media. But we have no influence over Brazilian media like that. Not in that way, because one of their people has picked up the story and now they're running with it. So the best we can do is use this as a teaching tool. We can't go at her like that. Y'all don't understand who this is.
This is true. And Chris, would you agree too? Just like we got beta male manginas here in America, they got beta male manginas in Brazil. Trust, and they will find you. If you know they got them lap dogs out there, they're just like, where is he? Let me go get him. You know.
Yeah.
So
like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like, wait, Coach, I think you're on mute, G. If you're on mute.
What's been going on been said. Could they sue him for defamation? Could he sue them for defamation? Because that's not what he was promoting. What's your take on that? But before you tell me, let me finish reading this. I want you guys to let that rock a little bit. Because what they try to accuse him of was wrong, but Austin perhaps made some gaffes in how he moved as well. You know, like Chris was saying, maybe doing too much content on talking to women or whatever, or when the OGs are trying to give you the game, not necessarily listening. And hopefully this will be a learning lesson for the young buck, man. But Chris, I'm gonna finish reading through this comment, man. Shout out to my man, Dr. Neil. Dr. Neil said the international tourism is a $1 billion industry. Feminism in non-Western countries cannot stop the flow of Western money. This too shall pass. I agree. I agree with you, Doc. I agree with you 1,000%. I just think just gotta let it relax a little bit and then roll with it. But it's definitely something about them trying to minimize men traveling and control men for whatever means necessary. It's always through the lens of the negative. Shout out to my man James Turner. He said that Ron O'Neill, I agree, just for blow over. He may need to walk a little light in South America and continue to establish relationships, humble and keeping them moving, no doubt. I agree. I agree with them guys 100%. Shout out to my man Rickster. He says, so what kind of advice would you give someone that wants to go out of seas to look for a traditional wife? Because I want to go to Brazil. I'll let Chris answer that at some point, him and Ken, but mostly Chris. Hold tight, Rick Star. I will let Chris answer that. I'll also give you my pointers as well. Well, let me say this, Rick Star. I'm going to give you my pointers, and then I'll let Chris take it out there and bring these comments. If you want a wife in Brazil, you don't want to go to places like Rio. Rio is not necessarily the place to find a wife. Not saying you can't find a wife in Rio. You don't necessarily want to go to Rio. You want to probably go to the countryside, maybe to Salvador Bahia, to other parts of Brazil that's more country, more rural. I think that'll give you the greatest outcome of finding a traditional wife because they are not influenced by liberalism and liberal policies. Also, if you want to get a wife from Brazil, you need to learn the language. You need to be consistent with learning the language. You need to understand the province that you're trying to go to, study that province, study it for months and years to say if you're planning to get your wife, Rick Star. And then also get with someone that's been touring the country for a while so you can understand the culture and the language and help them to guide you in the right direction. I think those would be the first requisite step that you need to do. Hold tight. Let me let me finish reading through these comments about this woman, guys, and then Chris, I'm gonna let you finish breaking that down, and then Chris, I'll let you read what you got as well. So the American Austin Holleman is on Twitter, on his profile on YouTube, has been creating a series of contents encouraging other Americans to come to Brazil to get closer to Brazilian women like himself as he's been doing. In his videos, he asks women questions of a sexual and effective nature, of which asks what penis size she likes. All this to conclude that they are saying we are easier than other women. He goes as far as to say, get your passport, a clear incentive for American men to come to the country with sexual intent. We know that sex tourism is a big problem and it should be encouraged in any way, but what can we make of this series of observed videos and comments by American men? A follower of Austin goes on to say that Brazilian girls are for sale. We are not. Yeah, I think they're taking what he said out of context for the most part. What's your take on that, Ken and Chris? Starting with Ken and then to Chris.
Well, I mean, as far as that comment, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the government don't have a problem with it because technically prostitution is legal in Brazil. So if that was a problem, you know, that wouldn't be going on basically, and that's that in a nutshell. What you think, Chris?
I mean, my opinions vary. Like I said, this conversation is a tough one. My opinions vary. I would say we know what it is down there, but I wouldn't be a big advocate of putting it on camera. I wouldn't be a big advocate of moving like that to where you're essentially putting these women in position to speak for so many Brazilian women, because that's the one thing that Stephanie is offended by, is you're painting these women as the voice of Brazilian women. There are a lot of women down there who do not like the whole idea of all these foreigners coming down there, you know, macking up on their women, you know, just for sex and stuff like this, because y'all are outsiders. Okay. We got this gateway open for all these different types of dudes coming down here, macking up on these women, and now you're trying to make them the voice of us. Stephanie is fighting back, trying to say this is not all of us, this is not who we are. This is why when you start putting a camera in front of these young girls' faces and start projecting them to be a certain way, because she's saying, because listen, I have all the information, and the information that she pulled is where he was outlining a certain thing and then would say, brothers, get your passport, something like that, right? So her perspective is her perspective is that Austin is trying to say that this is how all the Brazilian women are. So brothers, run down here and come get your piece.
Right. Which is taking him out of context. He's not saying get your passport to go out here and exploit women. He's saying get your passport. He even did a show talking about traditional women. Now, I'm not going to say Austin, they do some shows where maybe he was a little risque. I'm not going to say that. But I would say by and large, that was not the epigenesis of what he's trying to say. I don't, like I said, I have been following Austin a lot intently. I've seen his content off and on, but I don't just study because I'm busy. But what I do know of him, he talks about how to move, what not to do, how to deal with women in foreign countries. And I think he was making content for his subscribers, which can be good and bad if you're in a foreign country. We don't understand how to move in that foreign country.
Hey, Kush, go ahead,
brother.
The feminist, that particular feminist is actually in a situation where she's she's a hypocrite, because in one perspective it's just like, okay, they want liberation, but another is just kind of like, well, this is what you asked for, but at the same time, you know, I want control of the situation. You don't need to be shedding light on this. You see what I'm saying? It's a very, man, it's a weird situation. I'm actually kind of, because it doesn't have legs. We know that, because he wasn't pushing this sex tourism. But for her to take that snippet and just kind of just push it, I think it says a lot about her, man. It really does. Right.
But that's what they all do. That's what they all do. These liberal talking points. They take what you say out of context to push their agenda. I don't listen. I'm gonna say this succinctly. I'm gonna say it live. If I do something wrong, I'll take an L for it. If I thought Austin did something wrong in that context, I would tell Austin to his face, you were wrong. But I'm not going to castigate that young man if I don't think he was wrong. Because once again, I've talked about OGs behind the scene that live in foreign countries, and they say he did nothing wrong. But what he should have done was just pipe down when people were telling him to pipe down, because you know it could have came off as risque. He was more or less doing like a fresh and fit in Brazil, but fresh and fit in Brazil don't work in Brazil. You can do it in America. It don't work in Brazil. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
All right, couple points. Everybody, let me hit this in order. First off, okay, I'll get back.
Hold on, Chris. Let me read the super chat real quick. Then I'm gonna let you cook. Hold on, Chris. Let me read the super chat real quick. Salute to coaching panel. Being proud military myself, experience with Libya and Yemen. You already know how to be cool in those countries. Come on, no doubt. Shout out to my man James Turner.
Right.
My man Z Cool, he said too. Fellas, is it safe to say that the institution has been ruined for Brazil for brothers? Do you think this will blow over in a few weeks? I think it will. But I don't know. But go ahead, Chris.
All right, so the topic I was going to get at was, all right, so first, like Kim was saying, the situation is weird because it's kind of but the big point of that is you don't want to get in it. That's the whole point, is you want to stay out of that. That's why, because it's a weird situation. You're technically not wrong, but you technically are, based off who's saying what. We don't control the narrative in Brazil. All we can do is control our image. There's a lot of hot potato going back and forth about right, wrong, moral, Well, guess what? She has the moral high ground in her country because she's built rapport with her people. Men, understand, you're not about to fight a feminist battle on foreign soil on an away game, okay, versus their top feminists. Okay, you're not about to take the Jaguars of Mexico and go into stadium and beat Tom Brady. You're from a whole different country, right? Your odds are not in your favor. So put down this whole idea that we can just fight this and that. No, understand, you're not trying to fight here. This is not where we go to fight. Okay?
And it sucks, Chris, because I actually think she's taking it and trying to push this narrative too, where see, this is what Bolsonaro created. He created this kind of atmosphere for our people. You see what I'm saying? So Lula supposed to be like, you know what? Maybe she, So I see what you're saying, Chris. I see exactly what you're saying, brother.
And the thing is, we got to stay out of this because I told you. For those of you who are looking at it down here, understand this is a higher level game that she's playing. Y'all are just talking about Austin wasn't wrong. He did it up. Damn Austin. It's bigger than Austin. This is about the movement. This is about political agendas, people. Okay, this is far bigger than what you're looking at, or just trying to defend Austin. Bro, Austin is a passport brother. We are looking out for his interests. If it wasn't that big a deal, Kosher wouldn't be doing a live. I wouldn't have done a live. Nobody would be talking about it if it wasn't that big of a deal. We're talking about it because it's a bigger deal than what y'all are trying to acknowledge. All right. So what I'm trying to say is about him being wrong, and some people wanted to say, okay, well, people ahead of him did it first. Okay, Ace is live, 1MT. Yeah, we know that they were going around doing a thing in the beginning, but what happened? They changed and they stopped it. What did Ace Live? For those of you who travel and watch Travel Brothers, what happened when Ace's Live was out there? And he was all up in the clubs with the camera, doing all this and that because everybody wanted to see the Colombian girls and stuff like that. Ace's Live switched it up when they started to get on his ass. When the country started to get on his ass, because if y'all remember Travel Brothers back in the earlier about 2010 era in YouTube, all the brothers were doing the same thing, all up in the club with the cameras and all this, talking about the girl. They stopped all that because the locals started to get on that ass and they started to get tired of that. So Ace had to fall back, regroup, and what happened? Ace said, let me start showing the people, the culture, the places, and he got way more love. His channel blew up. He got way more respect.
Right.
Roof. He was. Everybody remembers what happened when Ace's Live was down there in Barranquilla, and he went down there on that corner with that homeless lady and her kids, and he went out there and bought them masks. He bought them some food. He gave them stuff, and the people from this day and on were running up to Ace when they saw him on the street, giving him love, giving him praise, taking pictures with Ace and stuff like this. 1MT switched up his narrative. He started talking about his business, his books, stuff like this, okay? I'm trying to express to y'all, those who are in this passport game and have been doing this for a long time, understand the optics, understand how to move, understand what works and what doesn't. And we were trying to relay that energy and information to somebody like a Austin who's a baby in this game. The brother is 23. My youngest brother is 26. Hell, I'm 34, and I'm spreading the message as an older brother to a younger brother. What you doing could get you in some sloppy situations. It ain't about laws, right and wrongs. This is image and narrative, because you're playing an away game and you're trying to use home game tactics when they have a whole different playbook, family. And that's what we're trying to get you to understand.
And collectively, you know, we don't want anything to happen to anybody. We want all our brothers to be able to travel and don't have no problems and bring their ass back home if they want to, or if they want to just stay there. But at the same time, when you bring in this kind of attention to us, this is something where we need to come to the table and have this discussion, because we don't want to hear stories, you know, a brother that went down somewhere and shit, we can't find him. You know what I'm saying? Because
right. I agree. Let me finish reading through this real quick. He said, we know that sex tourism is a big problem, that it shouldn't be encouraged at all, but what can we make of the series of absurd videos in the comments by American men? A follow of Austin goes on to say the Brazilian girls are for sale. We are not. Yeah, they taking what the kids say out of context. They lying, man. What else? Let me see. In the publication, the architects asked for questions to the embassy and consulate of the United States. In addition to the federal public ministry, what can we do? As she's publishing a video about exposing Black Brazilian women, encouraging our men by saying it's impossible not to get sex over here. But the repercussions of complaints of social media also begin to remove content in a video accusing feminists of making death threats. Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if she did or not, but I won't be surprised if they did. I don't think. I don't know. I can only go by what he said, but he said that death threats were made. So
let's say you met me, like you just did, and how soon would you kiss me, and how soon would you go back home with me?
I don't know. If I had time.
If you like him a lot and he likes you a lot, do you feel a need to wait a day or two? Or
No.
So you would go the same day?
Yes.
That's all I need to know. Get your passport.
And so you see what they did in that instance to take that out of context. What did you gather from that, Chris? And then also, I mean, first Ken and then also Chris. In context, was he taken out of context, starting with Ken and then Chris?
Listen, we're looking at it from our context. As terms of how we look at it, we don't really see that big of an issue with what he's doing. Not in our context. She, the head honcho that we're dealing with, all right, the op in this situation, she is taking it and creating a narrative and a context around what the brother is saying and doing. We've gotten to this point where this is why we guard against these situations, okay? Because now we have to go beyond right, quote unquote, and wrong, quote unquote. You don't put yourself in the line of fire, period, to where if you're not saying something clear enough, it can be taken out of context, okay? But when the other Brazilians look at this, what else can they say? We go off the fact that we kind of understand where Austin's coming from because, you know, he's part of our tribe. Right. Outsiders are looking at it like, see, there they go. This is why we tell y'all not to deal with those Black Americans. This is why we tell y'all not to do this and this and this, right? Because you did have a lot of these other white content creator traveler dudes who was doing all this stuff. They were doing the same thing for a while. They stopped doing it. They switched it up and they quit doing it. And now they're looking for a new face to put on sexual tourism. Brother Dennis Sperling warned us. He said, y'all need to be careful. Why in the hell is everybody saying you need to be careful if it ain't that big a deal? Right. Why in the hell is everybody just, oh, it ain't no big deal? Y'all taking it out of context. No. Let me express this. What he does in the blowback of what happens falls on all of us. You brothers who keep saying it ain't that big a deal. Y'all don't go there. You don't have any rapport with Brazilians. You don't know what it's like to walk the streets of Copacabana. Okay, you haven't spent the night in Salvador Bahia. You have not walked around on Avenida Atlantica in the middle of the night, hanging out with a female, cool and having good vibes, and understanding the difference between being in America and being down there in a chill place like Brazil. When you understand how great that is, you don't want to mess that up for nothing in the world. And especially when one of your own is acting up and you have tried to police someone, and bring them in and address like, hey, family, relax a little bit. Don't be doing too much of that. But when they buck against that and they say, no, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go my own way, I'm gonna walk, I'm gonna do da. Now we start to have a problem, because now we have one of our own who is not taking heed of the veterans that came before him and expressed to him specifically, fam, you need to chill. Because when that first video, Ken, that video that you was in when y'all was on the street that night, I seen you on the video, and I seen y'all was chilling with that girl, and I saw how he was acting to the one girl, and she just was kind of like, what? Because I knew what he was saying in English. I knew what he was doing.
I was trying to deflect. I was trying to deflect and divert a few times.
I saw it. Yeah, I know.
At the same time, I walked off.
I know. Yeah, I know. I saw you did walk off that night. But I seen y'all on the video. I was just like, oh snap, Ken out there. Okay, I see you, boy. But then again, the interaction between him and the girl was just kind of like, that was a little weird. Like, is wise, you know? And I'm listen. In it at that point, I was trying to reach out to brothers or brothers. The network was already talking. Like, okay, this brother has risen based off of controversy. Okay, but you don't want to take that controversial energy down to a chill place that has been established like Brazil. Leave the war at home. This is so now we start to get into the tenets of what Charles Tyler was talking about. When you get your ass to Brazil, you leave your matrix mindset in the fucking matrix. You don't come down here and start popping off and doing all these American-esque things. All right, this is now we start to get into what Charles Tyler built. Okay, we're not gonna let you just destroy that because you want to be hard-headed. Okay, damn right and wrong and laws. We're dealing with culture, we're dealing with image, and we're dealing with the rapport that has been built with these people. We don't need to start tarnishing that because we want to jump into some petty political war on some feminism BS. Right. Because we're gonna fight these feminists. You're not at home. Right. Cut it out. You're not at home. Okay, you can make your content and have fun, but you got to be very careful when you start tiptoeing into their political stuff, because it's a ball game down there.
No, I agree with that, Chris. Let's first look at this video real quick, and then I want to play the video that Austin did about his intentions. Hold tight.
A lot of these so-called travelers that's coming to Brazil, and they got the nerve to say, oh, I'm not traveling for women. Shut the fuck up. That's bullshit. Okay, where I'm at right now, it's so much action walking past through here. You not coming to Brazil not dealing with no damn women. That's not, I'm not believing that. Okay.
So, listen, to single men that travel, they are going to travel to meet women. There's nothing wrong with that. Folks have been traveling for years. I don't have a problem with him traveling for women. If they're single and they're trying to meet women. But I think the narrative they're trying to push, even though women in those countries solicit gringos for money and for whatever, everything that you say and do, whether it relates to content, is within context. You have to understand the context before you dissect. You got to go back and look at the pretext, the context, and the post-text. They get a bigger picture. But if you just take snippets and sound bites, and this is what these people do, just like in politics, you know what I'm talking about, Chris. They'll take snippets and sound bites, and they'll use those snippets and sound bites as a justification for their argument, but you didn't look at the whole context of what was said. And this is what they're doing now in this particular situation. Chris, if you got the article, go ahead and read through it real quick, brother. But hold tight. Then, Chris, I want you to talk to the young man about, maybe we'll start with McKenna, then Chris, about what he would look for in a wife. Shout out to my man, Iru the Apocalypse, for that $10 super sticker. Thank you, brother. Right. That's what would you look for in a wife if you was a single man? And the men look for if they want to get a wife from Brazil. Sorry, McCann. And then Chris.
Well, let me just piggyback on Chris. I think maybe the harsh reality of it that we're facing right now with some YouTubers that's going down there to make content. Maybe some content don't need to be shared. Maybe some content don't need to be made. I think maybe we need to accept that and move on, you know. Right. But as far as the whole marriage situation, I do believe that in certain perspectives, Rio is a hit or miss, man, because Rio is it's one of those situations, man. You'll come across some really nice women, but they're not marriage material, my brother. You're gonna have to go out on the outskirts, maybe Bahia, a lot of other places outside the major cities, because they're maybe 10 years behind America. If I have to give you an idea or perception of what Brazil is going through right now. So a lot of them are evolving. A lot of the women in the major cities are evolving, and they seeing the Westerns, and they're envious of them, and they're like, I want to be like them. And so, but if you're looking for marriage material, don't get me wrong, you might can come across, because you do have a lot of people that's 45 minutes to 2 hours out come to Rio to shop and gather and do things, and you might come across a few of them, but that may be a needle in the haystack, my brother. So you probably need to go and keep it pushing a little bit further. But it's definitely some wives out there, man. I think Brazil, after spending time out there the way I did this time, shout out to my grandmother. She passed away some years back, and she always told me there's some fishes out there that have never been caught, and that is definitely Brazil.
Right. Fair enough. Yeah. Fair enough. Go ahead, Chris. Break it down, man.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, Ken, man, you ain't lying, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Rio is one of them places where, it might feel like Disneyland at first. Everybody knows their first trip. Everybody knows
Space Mountain, Chris.
Oh, woo! It's fun. It's very fun. I'll say that. And like I tell any brother that goes, your heart needs to be in the right place, family. Yeah. You need to know what you want before you get down there, because they're gonna sell you a dream. You gotta be very careful of what it is that your heart wants. Because if you want to get to a point to where you're looking for a wife, now let's think about the full mentality of this. You want a wife. You're ready to find a wife, and you're going to head down to a foreign country like Brazil. First of all, you need to understand the optics of traveling, or you need to understand the mentality. You're going to a different country, culture, you're a fish out of water. You need to spend time in that country. You need to spend time with those people, and you need to understand how things move. I would say don't try to be on that 90-day fiance, mail order bride type stuff. That's how brothers be getting caught up and in trouble, because you don't know these people, you don't know this country. And if you're just going to run down there to pluck somebody from a country and then bring them back to America, then why don't you just try to hunt for one that's already in America anyway? Because you're missing the point of travel. Point of travel is to experience something new and something different. If you're in such a hurry to run back to the States, I would say don't even travel anyway. Just try to hunt one that's already Americanized, because that's all you're going to do if you're just going to grab her from one place and then just drag her to another, and you haven't spent any time down there. You don't know the people or the culture. These are the tenets you want to go on. If you don't plan on living there, and if you don't plan on learning that language, leave her alone as far as a wife is concerned. I'm going to say that again. If you don't plan on living there, and you don't plan on learning that language damn near fluently, leave her alone as far as a wife is concerned, because you don't care. You're not going to care enough about her culture to make a strong enough connection to where you'll get a wife. Okay, that's a different ball game. See, this is the thing, because I've heard different brothers talk about, a lot of brothers ain't going to be set up enough to go out there and live. Guess what? You got different issues then. Okay, you want a wife, but then again, you want a foreign wife, but you can't live in the country. Okay, so pick your poison. That means you need to get your money up. That means you need to figure out a way to work remote or work off of that country's currency, which I would not recommend. But if you want a wife that's foreign, then guess what? You need to do what it takes. Nobody said passport bros and traveling is easy. Nobody said it's a get out of jail free card. Nobody said it's a cheat to the system. It takes work. Okay, this is not no free handout where, I'm just gonna run to a country and pick an easier woman. No, family. If that's what you want, you got to work for it. You got to earn it if that's what you really want. And how do you earn it? Getting your money up, getting on your purpose, getting yourself in order, learning the language, showing how well adapt you are to her culture and her people. If you have such an issue with the American culture, then you shouldn't have an issue going to another country and wanting to be there. If that's not true, then you might as well get you an American woman, because you don't care about their culture. Okay, you have different problems. If you don't find a place that you love outside of America, stick to American women. Yeah. I'm not going to tell you to get a passport. I'm going to tell you you're not ready. Yeah. I'm going to tell you you're not ready to travel, because you're not going to care about her people. It's going to be reflected in how y'all's relationship goes. And then that's where it's going to be just about a green card. That's where it's going to be oh, okay, she's gonna get Americanized and then find somebody else and stuff like this. Okay,
Right.
get out of this dream world of, oh, I'm just gonna go pluck one and then drag her back to the States. Okay, you're not ready. Your heart's not in the right place, and you're not ready to make these type of moves. OGs will tell you we're passport bros.
Yeah.
All right, we're not looking. A lot of us are not really looking to set up permanent shop like that in America. We're looking to be able to move around to different countries at will. At will, meaning 2 weeks from a regular job in the States is not enough.
No.
Most passport bros are looking for ways to work remote and get that residual. That's why a lot of us are IT.
Yeah.
Or
Hey,
have
I want
right? Right?
Hey, right?
Your mentality, and listen, your mentality will be different because that same brother who wants to run down to a country to get a wife, if he hasn't never traveled, he's about to make a lot of mistakes because a brother who has traveled and is ready to find a wife who's foreign has usually already done and understands what it takes. Because I'll tell you what, that first trip overseas is going to change you. All right. You're going to come back ready to make changes. You're going to be like, yo, I don't need to do this anymore. I need to work over here. I need to switch my whole career. I'm trying to tell you, if you care enough, but if you don't care enough to do those things, you're not ready. You might as well stay ass in America.
Right. Excellent points, Chris. Excellent points. We're going to talk about the concept called GATM, because GATM is synonymous to people having a target on people's back. And just like they tried to GATM as it relates to Austin Holleman, Chris, like you were saying about Dennis Sperling, talking about how people are trying to GATM. How have you moved in silence, starting with Ken, so they couldn't get you? And then also Chris. But before you guys talk about that, Chris, or after you guys talk about that, we're going to read that article, Chris. I'm going to let you read that article if you got it. But go ahead, Ken. How did you deal with the GATM moment? You know, because they are trying to get you. They are trying to minimize. They are trying to reduce mental wellness. Because as I said before in the past, there are 7 steps that a man must go through in order to become optimized. And world travel is one of those 7 steps to male empowerment, but also to mental wellness. But how have you been able to move in to reduce that GATM move, that GATM moment?
Man, I got to be real with you, man. God. And just having the good intuition and the instincts to understand and the clarity to see things before they unfold. Because a lot of times you could be in situations, man, and if you have some kind of awareness about where you're going, the locations, and just always having your head on the swivel and knowing where the exit is. You always know where the exit. And I'm just using that as an analogy, and with conversations with people, even philosophically, like just knowing where the exit at, because it could save you a world of hurt. You'll find yourself trying to get out of situations that could seem difficult, but are actually easy to get out of. But we all know, bad decisions are easy to get into, but hard as hell to get out of. And you have to be aware that dealing with these women all over the world, because they could be your demise, man. They could be your demise.
Yeah, I totally agree. Chris, that GATM moment, how have you moved around Brazil and understanding their culture as it relates to adaptation to reduce that GATM moment? Because they are all trying to get you, and they're all trying to arrest the movement for male empowerment and male mental health. Because as I said before in the past, the right to self-determination are 2 of those major critical elements for male empowerment. But Chris, how have you been able to move to reduce that GATM moment?
Well, like I've talked about before, and like and people in the chat are commenting on, I've made many trips down there to Brazil. Like Ken said, it was his first time staying down there for a month. That's what's up. Usually when I go, I'm down there for a month. Last time we were there, I was down there for a month. That's usually how I was rocking. And hell, I'm about 7. I'm up to like 7 trips right now. And my thing is like I studied, because when I first started going down there, I went alone. Okay, I went by myself, and what my guide was Charles Tyler. My guide was watching, the lifestyle, how he moved, and things that he talked about and what he did. Which is a good example for content creators if they want to understand a different place in the culture. I didn't go down there on some fresh and fit type energy where I want to bring this debate to these women down here and stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? I watched Charles Tyler first. If you get into this travel game and you don't come in under somebody, you're gonna make mistakes. Okay. So when I first started traveling, I came in under Charles via internet, never met him in person. And get this, when I first started watching his content, I never thought I would even go to Brazil. I was going through my situation post a divorce, and I was finally trying to find ways to put myself back together and how I can, you know what I'm saying, dealing with the loss of, like, you know, what I thought was a family and not getting to see my son and stuff like this. So I was going through my fair share of stuff. And this was back when I was in Texas, right? So, you know, I'm figuring things out, getting back on my feet, wound up going overseas, contracting, making money. And while I was over there, it came back to me years later. Oh, snap. How about I go to Brazil? I've always wanted to go to Brazil. So I wound up going to Brazil, and in my background programming was all the videos I watched with Charles Tyler, right? So all the videos that he showed about walking through Rosina favela, stuff like this, moving around, showing the places, doing this. I was walking through that on my own via him. I also started studying the language a couple months before I even got there, right? I started putting in the work, okay, to really make rapport, because I wanted to build and get and understand these people, okay? Those were my building blocks before I even got there. So when I got down to Brazil, it felt a little second nature. Some places I had seen on camera multiple times, I was like, wow, I recognize that. And then the language, I could communicate somewhat in the beginning. And I was able, off my own strength of knowing what I knew, make connections, talk to these people, get to know them, okay? So my mind was never on some, you know, tourism type stuff like that, where I was going down there just to, you know, get my notch count up. My mentality was never there, because Charles Tyler preached a doctrine of freeing yourself, of getting out of the matrix. Okay. My mentality was looking for freedom in a different way of life, and a culture that I could relate to, because my own had rejected me and failed me. See, because if you're not coming with that kind of energy where you understand that there's a problem at home in the States, okay, you're not going to be so in tune with trying to build good rapport with another one, which is why we tell these young brothers, you need to understand clearly and understand the history of what this travel stuff is built on. Okay. It's like you all of a sudden just jumped into the company, or you just started school, but you never got your orientation. Those are the type of things that we try to preach to the young men. Okay. We try to express to them the proper ways to move. All right. So when I finally started moving down there, what saved me was, one, speaking the language, understanding how to connect with them. You know what I mean? I had girls down there talking to me just like, are you sure that you're never been here before? Like, wow, your accent is good. Like, are you sure this is your first time down here? And I was just like, yeah, it's my first time, stuff like this. So now I'm chopping it up with them, you know, asking them, you know, you got WhatsApp and things like this, making connections and talking to these girls. And they all came at me with a different energy, because they could see that I respected who they were, their culture, wanted to get to know them. I could relate to them through the music. I knew they're artists, you know, and we're listening to their music and I'm singing it, and they're just like, what? And that's what they'll start calling you, brother, you know, you're mediocre, brother. You're just like I would say, mediocre. You know what I mean?
Man, I got that so much, man. I ain't meaning to cut you off. I just want to interject and just say, man, you're absolutely right, man, because Black American brothers in general, we already got a one-up on the game, because if we don't say nothing, most of them think that we're Brazilian. They think that we're Black Brazilian. Because there's a lot of us that look like us down there.
Yeah, it is a lot of brothers.
Keep going, Chris, man.
I've gotten Colombian, I've gotten Moroccan, I've gotten all kind of different stuff before I open my mouth. And then when I start speaking, they're just like, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? They're just like, they're impressed by how I can kick the language to them. And they're just like, oh wow, okay, you're different. Those are the type of things that are going to build good rapport. And these are the type of things that we defend because of the work that has been put in for brothers who have went down there and gave a damn about the people and what they say. So when you want to start coming at us about right and wrong and, oh, I can stand up for my rights, stop thinking like a damn American in Brazil. Okay. As in Rome, you do as the Romans do. Relax, family. You didn't come down here to bring the fight. You didn't come down here to be fresh and fit Brazil. You came down here to get away because there's an issue going on in your homeland. So a lot of the things that saved me was the mentality that I came with, and I acting like a child when I got down in a foreign land. I went down there with sense. I made rapport with the people, spoke the language. When they call you a mediocre, that's a big plus, because they're saying you're American carioca. Carioca means you're from Rio, okay? If you're from Sao Paulo, they call you paulista, okay? They have their understandings of their people like that. When you come down there and you feel the energy of these people and they welcome you in, they're like, oh, you feel like one of us. You feel like one of us. Okay. That's also how you get a wife if you're looking to find one in a country like that. Okay. These things matter.
Chris, hold tight, brother. Hold tight, Chris. I'm gonna let you. You're doing a good job. Shout out to my man Rick Star. He said that thank you guys for advance. I'm definitely going to think about this, but for right now, I just want to travel and gain some experience and learn. And guys, I got to find out what's going on with this static in my system. I feel I got to.
You straight right now.
Straight. Okay, all right. And then also shout out to my man my man Barry Hamilton for that $7 cash app. I appreciate it. Barry Hamilton said for a much needed conversation. Thank you, Barry Hamilton, for that and incoming cash app. Thank you, Barry Hamilton.
It's the money.
All right. Next thing, what we're going to look into. I want you to go ahead and read the information that we had. Yeah. So let's go to read through that article and break it down for the people.
All right. If you want, I can. I should be able to share my screen. Let me see.
Yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Share your screen.
Let me see. Share screen. Here we go. Let's see what's up over here. Nothing. Okay. Cool. All right. We're gonna share this. We're gonna bring this up. And where is it? Stream y'all to share your screen. Can y'all see? Can everybody see the? Oh, here it is down here. Let me see. Coach, I think you got to pull it up. In the back.
All right. Hold on.
Yeah,
there we go. All right, hold on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hold on.
All right, cool. So, all right. So now this is the article in English. Okay. So this is what she put out. Now I want everybody to pay attention. Global.com is like it's like CNN down there. All right, for the Brazilians. Okay. So this says North American YouTuber is criticized for recording videos that encourage sex tourism in Bahia. Are Brazilian women easy? You know what I'm saying? That's the name of it. Austin HOLLEMON's channel had until this Friday more than 38,000 followers. The reason that she's talking about that is she's trying to bring validity to how big he is. Basically, she's trying to make more light and to say he's a threat. Okay. This is why she's doing this. This is all political games. She's trying to say that he's a threat. That's the video that Kosher just played right there. And then we're going to get into the article. American YouTuber Austin HOLLEMON was criticized on social networks for recording videos during his stay in Salvador that stimulate sex tourism in the capital of Bahia. Again, here she is outlining, trying to say that he is a problem. Austin HOLLEMON's channel had until this morning more than 30,000 followers. One of his videos on her okay, now this is a third-party person referring to Stephanie, I believe. One of the videos on her platform channel published 3 weeks ago with the title Brazilian Women Are Easy has more than 7,000 views. Wait a minute. I think that's his channel. I guess that's worded wrong. But anyway, 2 days ago, the American YouTuber made a new video with the title Why Do Brazilian Women Like Bad Guys and Not Good Guys? On social networks. The content gained visibility when it was criticized by the architect and presenter of GNT, Stephanie Ribeiro. Okay, there it is. So this is the third party. Listen, just so everybody understands, this is a third party outside of Stephanie. Global.com, Global News, referring to the work Stephanie is doing. This is how big it's getting in their social in their media streams. This is another party outside of her referring to her, talking about Austin. Again, letting y'all know how big this is. In a publication made on Instagram, the presenter stated that the YouTuber uses the platform to publish videos inviting other North Americans to travel to Brazil in search of relationships with Brazilian women who would be easier, quote unquote, women than those from other parts of the world. Okay. In the videos, Austin HOLLEMON approaches women on one of Salvador's baiches and asks sexual questions. Right. He even asked one of them what size penis she likes and shouts, "Get your passports," referring to the American men who watch him. Now, not only is she outlining Austin, what is she doing? The American men who watch him. So guess what? If you're calling yourself passport bro, if you're calling yourself a black man who travels, guess who they are putting in league with Austin? You, family, which is why this matters. I'm getting sick of people saying that it doesn't matter and y'all are taking it out of context. Damn it, you don't understand how big this is. And what this is this is the exact fuel to the fire. That matter of fact, on Pablo's channel today, for those of you who watch Pablo Frescobar, there was a female, Sexy Red, got up on his channel, and he wasn't even talking about it. She brought it up. So eloquently, she just talked about, so y'all know over in Brazil, Austin is messing up, right? And she was so happy to talk about it.
Well, you're right. Sure, they're happy to talk about it. You're right, Chris. Go ahead. Keep talking.
They're using this as ammunition.
As ammunition, right.
This is why this matters, okay? This is a big deal, and this is why we got to get out in front of it. If you call yourself a passport bro, if you call yourself a brother who travels and loves this freedom, you need to be ready to fight for it, all right? This is not a game. Finishing the article. With the repercussions, the YouTube removed several contents and published on Wednesday. Removed several contents and published on Wednesday a video which he accuses Brazilian feminists of making death threats against him. And down in the bottom, they have the names blurred out of him going back with these, I guess, feminists who were trying to attack him and go at him and stuff like this, and just showing you the magnitude of how big this is. Now, if y'all pause for a second, hold on tight. I have the Instagram link. I'm gonna also drag that over onto the screen as well. Let me drag this over. Okay, so this is the link. This is the Instagram post in English, by the way. Okay, and okay, so this is the Mundo Negro site. It says, "Are women in Brazil easy?" This is the title of one of the videos posted on Austin HOLLEMON's YouTube channel. North American who comes to ours to invite other men to also adventure with the women here. The channel has more than 35,000 subscribers, once again outlining him being a threat. Who follow his videos exposing Brazilians always with sexual fringe. Okay. Stephanie Ribeiro, architect and presenter of GNT, Global News Television, who brought the report on social media, on social networks on the evening of Wednesday 11th. In this video, he asked sexual and emotional wedged questions to Brazilians, one of which he asked how big penis she likes. So again, a third party running with the information she started putting out. Again, showing, now I've shown you, this is 2 major platforms outside of Stephanie. Okay, she's a titan herself. Other titans picked it up. Okay, finishing, we're going to continue. This to conclude by saying that we are easier than other women. There you go. There you go. I told you, they are very sensitive about their image. Okay, Stephanie is saying you're trying to say that we're easier than other women. All right, here we go. He even says, get your passports, a clear incentive for American men to come to the country with sexual intent, he wrote.
Chris, pause on that, Chris. I want you to finish. Hold tight. Let me read these cash out shit out. But Chris, you know and I know that's not what he was saying. He was not saying that they are easy because they're loose. He was saying they are easy because they're more easy to talk to because they're kinder. That's what he was saying. But this woman took it and spent it in a negative narrative to try to make him look bad. But hold tight. Let me finish reading what Saint Cyr said. He said that just made a post on his community page. Check it out. So basically, also say he's not going to do no more Brazilian content. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he should stop per se, but he got to do what's best for him. I can't tell the young man how to run his channel. And then also shout out to my man, Brandon Jett, for that $20 sticker. Thank you, Brandon Jett. Brandon Jett said that for the show culture, it was an incredible show. I appreciate it, Brandon Jett. And you are one of the #1 sponsors of the stream. Thank you, sir. All right, so once again, Chris, in context, everything is in context. Is this a miscarriage of justice regarding this young man, in your opinion? Because I think it is. I don't think I know it is. But go ahead.
Unfortunately, you know, it sucks that we have to be at this point. I mean, I know that the young brother didn't have this kind of intention in mind. I know he was just doing this thing, having fun, talking to the girls. I know he was excited to be down there. We've all been there. You know what I mean? That's why I said it's heavy for me to go into this. It's passionate for me to go into this because I want Austin to thrive. I want Austin to be able to make successful content. I want him to be able to go into Brazil and spread the word about how, yo, this is dope down here, this and that, da 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 da. But you start making false moves when OGs will come around you and express to you, whoa, family, easy, don't go that direction, chill out, and you don't want to take heed to that. And then this is what can happen. We know that he didn't have no nefarious intent, and I'm not trying to say that he did, because I can tell the young brother just wanted to have fun. I know.
Just want to have fun, right? I agree.
Because I'm the youngest in my group. Like I said, I'm 34, he's 23. So to me, he's like a younger brother. I'm a young brother to everybody else in the groups that I'm in. Okay? Everybody's older than me. I'm the youngest. Y'all hear me talking. I'm the youngest. Okay? And Austin being at 23 versus my 34. And then I also had to learn a couple things about how to move down there. I respected my OGs that brought me in and coached me up on fam. Hey, fam, don't do that. Because you know why I'm passionate? Because I was ready to do exactly what Austin was doing. I was ready to go down there and start thinking about maybe I should interview these girls. Because guess what? I had my channel back then as well. And I thought about what is the best way to maybe start marketing and I can get my YouTube numbers up and start interviewing. And my OGs were like, no. You don't want to do that. Because a lot of people don't want to be on camera. You don't speak the language. Certain word gets out about you. You're a gringo walking around with a camera. And then obviously you got a target on your back. You don't want that kind of information. So now we see in the Instagram post, I just showed y'all and illustrated 2 sites, all right, outside of Stephanie and how big she is herself. Matter of fact, if we want to take a look at Stephanie, I have the Instagram right here as well. I'm going to go ahead and drag that over. Let's check it out. Let's just look at Stephanie. Let's just go ahead and check her out. Oh, blue check mark. Look at that. Look at that. That says 129,000 followers. And I want y'all to know something. When I started doing this information, because I did my live stream last night, when I first started looking at it, it was at 128. And I have not refreshed this page. No, maybe.
Hey, Chris, go check her first. Her new post that she just posted. It said, "Are you Brazilian?" Oh, I love Brazilian women.
Yeah, see, there it is.
That's our next post. That's a new post right there.
Yeah, right here. You know, and look on the front of her page. She got Austin branded. Okay, labeling Austin as some type of villain when it wasn't Austin's intent. We know that. We're saying again, we know Austin did not have intent to go down there and blow it up. But we were trying to warn him about how fragile it is that you can tap into that. And we're warning you not to do that. And these type things can get you in a little bit of trouble. Okay. And as far as we know, brothers were reaching out. He said, no, I got it. It ain't that big a deal and stuff. Now look on her page 20. Let me refresh. Okay. Let me refresh and see what happens.
What is it? What is this blue check mark, guys? What does that mean? Break that down. What does that mean? I don't know what's a blue check mark. What's that?
She's a certified influencer.
Oh, gotcha.
Yep. And look, her newest one is YouTuber North Americano, critical videos, tourism, sexual, women in Brazil. Yeah. And this is her newest post once again. Okay. Once again, 827 likes. Just posted it.
Hey, hit the C translation, the one right at the bottom of the paragraph. I'm curious what she says. Look at the videos.
Wow, look, bro, this is her newest post. Let me read this because I know the print is small. Let me read this.
Read it.
It says, I took the videos from here in prints because I don't listen. She's saying now what y'all just saw on the other before I refreshed were the videos of him on her page, right? She just said she took those down. Okay. She said, I took those down because I don't want to keep seeing this person on my networks, nor the violent messages of their actions. And in one of those videos, the faces of some of the girls he filmed appear. But now all of the material has been forwarded to the competent authorities, and the girls who unfortunately were filmed and put into and put in a questionable way, at least on his channel, are already with the necessary legal support.
Oh shit. Hey man, we try to warn
family.
We try to warn,
Y'all
man.
understand? Did everybody know? Y'all understand what I just read?
He might.
Did everybody hear that?
I think it's time for him to lawyer up, man. Like
this is why we were telling people in the background, y'all don't understand the magnitude of what this is. We were talking in the background when it first kicked off, and we were waiting to see how we were going to speak about it in public. Okay, this is why brothers were telling him, Austin, bro, you need to get out of Brazil.
Hey Chris, and this is why it gets worse. So you got Fred vibing with Fred. He's a friend of his.
Yeah, I know.
You know what? And when the snowball starts rolling, what you think the rest of these girls gonna do?
They gonna come for him.
He was viewing me. He had me on video too. Especially if they feel like they can get some money. So you like opening the Pandora's box, man.
Yeah, dog. That's why I said you don't be putting these. You want to be careful about putting cameras in front of these girls and this and that. You don't know who they're connected to. And now Stephanie, reporter, by the way, is saying that this information has now been passed up to the authorities. So to my brother Andrew, when I say this is war, what part of that don't you understand? She called out the embassy. The governments are getting involved. For a young brother like Austin who has no help by himself down there in Bahia, the brother needs to take necessary measures because his neck is on the line. He doesn't need to move. It's not a big deal. Oh, I'm okay. Fam, stuff like this will get the favelas on your ass.
Hey, and Chris, I don't think a lot of the viewers probably even understand the situation that happened with Cuba Dave. Are you informed about what happened to Cuba Dave?
I believe he was in Colombia, right?
Yeah, and they held him for a year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
They just decided to just randomly release him. Like, okay, now you can go back to doing what you do. Man, you had me in jail for a year.
But Chris, you know what? I want you to finish reading that. But some of you and I talked about in the back saying this is some Andrew Tate-ish. And I want you to talk about, because listen, these women, guys, some of them are practicing witchcraft. And it's all about control, because the gospel say that rebellion is to idolatry and stubbornness is like the sin of witchcraft. Some of these women are practicing witchcraft, and this is not an exaggeration, but this is some Andrew Tate, COINTELPRO-ish. The same thing they did to Andrew Tate, they're trying to do to us. But go ahead, Chris, finish reading it. Then I want you to compare and contrast between the two in your opinion.
Okay, so I want to go back to this again. I need to read this again because y'all need to feel this. All right. Okay. Now, when she talks about, because I see people in the comment talking about the violent messages of their actions, I think she may have been talking about people going back and forth in the comments. I'm pretty sure that's one. And in one of the videos. I believe that's what she was talking about, was in the comments, people talking violence. Okay. All right. Now, I'm pretty sure that's what she's talking about. Okay. Now, I'm going to read this part again. She says, and in one of the videos, the faces of some of the girls' film appear. But now all the material has been forwarded to the competent authorities. Damn. And the girls who unfortunately were filmed and put in questionable way, meaning the ones they were talking about, at least on his channel. So the girls on his channel that he's been recording, okay, are already with the necessary legal support. What does that mean, legal support? We're talking attorneys now. Mm-hmm. All she has to do, Stephanie, is get in their ear, and all we got an Andrew Tate situation, because now they're going to start looking to push charges on him. I didn't know he was putting me in a position like that. I didn't know. And guess what? They have evidence to say so. You don't speak the language. Like I said, this is an away game. Now they can start putting charges on your ass. Mm-hmm. This is not a game, and this is why we say this. For y'all who don't get it and think, oh, this is just, it's whatever. Is this overreacting when they're talking about lawyers? They're talking charges. You see what she's saying? It's been pushed to she's had to take it off of her channel because now it's in the hands of the lawyers. Wow. Austin had to leave the country. And this is just, it's no big deal. It's no big deal. Continuing. Okay. At least the girls on his channel, necessary. This, and she says, this is right now. I hope more people mobilize against this group. Bro, what do you see? Let me outline this. I hope more people mobilize against this group of men calling themselves passport bros.
Wow.
Do you not hear me?
Yo, that's some power accusations right there, bro.
Do you not hear me when I said she's mobilizing against us? It's a war.
You know,
you think this is a game? You think this is a game? You see what you see what this says? Somebody clip this and run it up to everybody who calls himself a passport bro, and you come back and tell me how it ain't that serious.
She's
literally
calling
the government.
And now it's Chris, she's tampering into some muddy waters. And I'm gonna be devil's advocate with this because we know the tourist situation down in Brazil is a $1 billion industry. You know what I'm saying? Basically, is it just that she's targeting the passport bros, meaning American brothers coming there, or she's targeting the whole influx of the world of tourist men that's coming down there on that level?
She's targeting everybody who's in league or could be associated with Austin HOLLEMON.
Yo, HOLLEMON, wow.
Because they call him what? The leader. He comes from where?
They did label him as the leader.
They labeled y'all, everybody who's listening, they labeled him the leader, by the way. And everybody who calls himself a passport bro and runs with that moniker, and guess what? Black men, especially.
And here's the I was just going to say she did hashtag passport bro, so I'm pretty sure from a legality standpoint, they went through probably and try to get through the passport bros group on like Facebook or whatnot. They probably did all that, man.
This is what I'm talking about. Stephanie Ribeiro is not. I told you she's Rachel Maddow level. Do you understand? She now, and this I ain't even read the next sentence. The next sentence is gonna make y'all heads turn because I ain't even got there yet. She says, "I hope more people mobilize against this group of men who keep calling themselves passport bros." She is besmirching the name. She is using this as a linchpin. You understand how many people want to take down the movement of a Kevin Samuels, or Andrew Tate, and now passport bros. This is our opposition. This is what we have to deal with when you don't move accordingly in another country. This is what happens. Now let's read the next sentence. No, let me read it all together. I hope more people mobilize against this group of men who keep calling themselves passport bros and who keep encouraging travel to countries like Brazil, Philippines, Colombia, Puerto Rico for sexual purposes. Oh, she's coming at everybody.
She's coming at everybody.
Thailand, Puerto Rico, DR, she's going at all of y'all. Don't matter. You see, this is what it is. I told you, everybody's watching us. Everybody is paying attention to black men moving.
Yeah.
So now she's putting out an alert to everyone. Oh, this is bigger than Brazil. I told you this was national. Y'all want to play like this is a game. I said it was a big deal, so I'm tired of hearing it. Stop saying it. Oh, y'all overblowing it. Look.
Hey, and Chris, the crazy part about we can't even touch her. Her own people will have to deal with her. And I don't even think her own people want to deal with her.
No, we can't touch her. That's the thing. We need to fight. This ain't no random blogger family.
We can touch her, bro.
We can't call her up on a panel and debate her points. She's national. She's media. Okay. You're not about to, like I said again, you're not about to call in a correspondent to CNN and debate them. The media is going with the stories now. Let me continue reading. Okay. We need to denounce these channels and practices that create misogynistic stereotypes that fall on all of us Brazilian and or Latin women. Oh, she is calling war. What are you talking about? She is calling them to war. What do you mean? What do you mean? Let me read that again. Okay. Let me see. I can highlight this. We need to denounce these channels and practices that create misogynistic stereotypes that fall on all of us Brazilian and or Latina women. Let me tell y'all something about Stephanie Ribeiro. She is in league and a part of the left. A lot of those women down there voted for Lula. Okay. The president. The country is divided 50-50 in favor of Lula. Understand, she has a lot of women who listen to her. One of the girls I saw dropped a like on her page on the comments about Austin. I saw one of the girls I know give a like on that and comment. And I messaged her like, yo, what you know? Are you good? You know about this? and she was giving me information, and she's in Rio.
Mhm.
All right, she's in Rio. Austin is in a whole nother spot. Okay, when people say that this is circling around Brazil, their national media, this is a real thing because now the head feminist is pushing it. All right, their war general has now the ammunition to go to battle, and then she's calling out feminism, women around all the travel bro spots to now start taking action against these misogynistic stereotypes that fall on all of us Brazilian and or Latin women. For you brothers who go to Colombia, it's already hot enough in Medellin. It's already hot enough in Medellin to where brothers had to flee to Thailand. Why? Because they're hitting brothers with scopoline now. They don't care about you being an American anymore. So I don't want to hear that, oh, this is something that we need to take care of because we already lost Medellin. Okay? We already lost Medellin. Half the brothers don't even want to go. Go ask BNP.
Hey, I'm one of them, man. Like I don't think I want to touch Medellin, man.
That's what I'm saying.
If I'm with a group, that's the only way I even set foot in Medellin.
But let me say this, guys. Chris, you make some good points, but I don't think I think men do need to be careful, like you were saying, Chris, and understand the laws of the country, and you make some very valid points. But I don't think men should let fear stop them from being men, because that's what they want you to damn do. You got to fight fire with fire. If you had to get lawyers to lawyer you up and down to more or less represent you, you got to do it. That's what they damn want to do. They want men. That's the spirit of Jezebel, just like she did to Ahab. Jehu. They want them to run in silence or run in fear because it's about control and power. But men got to stand up and fight, speak truth to power, cross their T's and dot their I's, because that's what they damn want you to do. It's not wrong with men saying their passport, bro. There ain't nothing wrong with it. But you are right, Chris, that men have to be a lot more stealth and they have to be a lot more careful because these people in America don't want to see men happy. They don't want to see men mentally, physically, or financially happy. They don't want to see it. They want to supply men. I'm going to do a show about that at some point soon. But they don't want to see men happy and walking in their own freedom and walking in their own liberty. And sadly, I love the young brother Austin. I wish he had taken advice of some of the OGs. But that's what happens when you don't follow instructions. Sadly, go ahead, Chris.
But Kosher, the thing about it is this, though, family.
Right, go ahead, brother.
Now we have to fight. We didn't leave America to continue fighting. We left America to stop fighting.
Right.
That was the point. Of course, we can stand up like men and call up to arms and rally together and battle against them. Of course. But now we're putting extra work on our plate that we tried to not have in the first place. That was the point. That's the point of Passport Bros. It's not a battle cry. It's a brothers relax. We good now. We can put down our arms. What is Thinking Man's Templar? What does he say? He said from brothers can lay down their arms, relax, and get away from it all. Listen, go back and listen.
But Chris, Passport Bros is not just a black man thing. It's white boys. White men are Passport Bros. It's not just a black man thing. White men are celebrating the Passport movement as well. And if white men and black men, all men come together, we can weather the storm. If also need to get a lawyer for defamation, then he need to get a damn lawyer if he need to. Because the evidence don't lie. Because if you get a skilled lawyer, they can look at everything within context and say that's not what he was saying. This woman took his words out of context. But what you're saying though, Chris, here's something to damn think about. I'm not gonna lie about that. You spent some true game. Hold tight, Chris. Let me read this real quick. He said Dennis Sperling and others have warned us about women like this. We have to start protecting our reputation at all times. Thank you, Furthermore. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Chris.
But the thing about this is the interesting thing about it not being a black thing. That's a little bit divided within the group because some brothers feel like, oh, this is a black thing started by us, whatever the case. White men have been doing it. We made it cool, whatever. But the thing about it is this: white men's faces are not on it.
Yeah.
So they can deny it as soon as they get ready. They say, oh, hey, those black guys, that's how they are. They don't have to be. They're not allied like that. They don't have to be allied with us like that, because as soon as they get ready, they can say, once again, our scapegoat over here took the fire, so we don't even have to fight with y'all if we don't want to. See, we don't want to be put in these situations, because one thing we'll talk about, morals. This goes beyond morals, because now we start to get into a position where we're having to fight harder once again. It's already enough dealing with what we have to deal with as black men in America. Now we have to, those same stigmatisms can now get put on us when we go to other countries. And yeah, we have done good work of building good rapport, and we have done good work with working with other people in native places. We've done good work. But the last thing we need is start to become the faces of people trafficking and sex tourism. We don't need that, because just like in America, black men, you don't have any friends. And if your face starts to get put on stuff so that you can take the downfall first, other races and cultures don't have to come save you because they haven't done it before. So guess what? Everything still stays in the same. The hierarchy is still in place. Black men are at the bottom taking all the rounds. And guess what? Here we go again, round 2. Now it's just on an international level. This is what happens when we don't cover our 6. This is what happens when we are not adherent to what other brothers are telling you to listen to. Okay? This is what happens. All right? We've made more work for ourselves. We don't need that. It's not that we're not strong enough to fight it. I'm tired of fighting. That's the point. I don't want a goddamn fight when I go to Rio. When girls come up to me talking about, do you know Austin Hollerman?
Yeah.
No.
Well, hold tight, Doc. I'm gonna drop the link, but I want you to add to it too, because you make some good points. This is only for Dr. Neil. I would like him to add to the context as well. Hold tight, Chris. Hold tight. For Dr. Neil only. Hold tight.
I don't think there's fear mongering. Yeah, I know. What's up, Dr. Neil? Been a while. I don't think it's fear mongering, Doc. I just think it's more of being aware.
Being aware, right. I don't think he's trying to fear monger. I think Chris is saying. I think what Chris is saying, it's more intense than you really think it is, and you really got to move because you don't know what the legal or social ramifications can be. But Doc, if you want to at some point, brother, pop in and we'll finish breaking this thing down. But go ahead, Chris. Keep reading, brother. Go ahead, Chris.
First of all, Doc is entitled to his opinions. However he feel about it is how he feel about it. How I feel about it is how I'm gonna see it and how I'm gonna say it. Okay, there's evidence backing up what I'm talking about. All right, I'm showing you in real time what they're saying, how these Brazilian people think. We're not spreading no fear. This is spreading awareness. Okay, you can say that all you want, but for those who are not frequenting Brazil, dealing with what's going on down there, making rapport down there with these people, guess what? Your opinion is going to be close to null and void. All right? Because we're discussing something that goes beyond fear. We're dealing with facts. Is it going to be fear mongering when all of a sudden people are walking up on you because the perception of you has been turned into something else? Is that fear? Is it fear when you see her putting up stuff like this in articles, going around trying to make it worse for us, putting this heat on our necks? We don't need that. Is that fear? Is this fear, or am I stating facts right now? Let me go ahead and finish the article. I want to remind you that not every American man is compact with such practices, but foreign men do need to understand the imperialist nuances of some sexist actions that they have towards women from countries like Brazil. So this is not a dead conversation here. Let's talk about it more. Let's think about campaigns. Carnival is around the corner, and we know that many foreigners come to Brazil to enjoy this party. May enjoyment be with the respect, and may we become more and more aware of the sexist nuances of some practices. And it's so odd for her to try to say these type of things and put it on us when you need to clean your own house. Your own country promotes a lot of things as well. To just try to pile it all upon us, but that is the hat trick. That's the hat trick, is to make us the issue. Just like everywhere else we go, we got to deal with us being the problem, us being the faces. Our own women tell us we're the reason why things don't work. And now we're just going to deal with it on an international level. I'm not trying to hear from anybody who's trying to downplay this like it's nothing. We have the information. We see it in real time. Will it blow over? Of course, in time it will. But what are the ramifications of the fallout? What the ramifications of the fallout that's going to come from dealing with this is something that we don't need to deal with. Okay, and it was intended to be avoided at all costs. For those of you who don't travel, you have to understand the tenets of what we do and how we move with purpose and for a reason. Okay. What I'm trying to say is that these are things that we need to be aware of and take heed of, right? So it's fine. For those of you who have your opinions, okay, fine. Those of you who plan to never go to Brazil, okay, fine. But I don't want to hear from anybody who don't plan on going there and is not planning on keeping good relationships down there.
Hey, Chris, keep cooking, man. I'm gonna finish that video with Austin, bro. Keep cooking, Chris. And then I'll finish reading through this, and I want to show that video where Austin was trying to explain himself to add context. But go ahead, Chris.
Well, I know people are calling out her to be an agent and stuff like this, but the problem is that a lot of those things are beyond us. She's an agent, she's a feminist, she's this, she's that. Okay, but it's beyond us now. There's only so much we can do, and we can only take care of home. All right, we can sit here and say, hey, we don't have those intentions and we're not these type of people and this and that. But what she's doing is she's putting our faces on the name of sex tourism. She's putting our faces on misogynistic stereotypes and stuff like this. These are the type of things that we want to stay away from. A lot of people in the chat are saying move in silence, stuff like this. You know what I mean? And, you know, I respect Doc's opinion, but in this context, in this situation, this goes beyond feelings. Okay, fear is a feeling.
Now, Chris, now look at the contradiction in her paragraph. Now she's trying to backtrack because she knows Carnival is around the corner. She states that.
Yeah,
that's a clear contradiction of the whole concept, because everybody knows why men come down there for Carnival.
Yeah.
So yeah. This is man. I tell you, man, I just can't deal with these feminists, man. I just can't. Just can't.
And that's
bro.
the problem.
And you know, just like somebody else was saying, you know, it's very hypocritical, because they know that these women solicit gringos or Americans for whatever. They're the ones doing the damn solicitation.
Right.
But then they are trying to flip it and seem like, you know, men are coming over there making their women predators. You can't have access to those women unless they had their own agenda in the first place. All those countries practice that to some degree. White, whether they're white gringos, black, or whatever. But once again, Chris, and also Ken, you see how they're making a mockery out of passport bros, but white men that have traveled, white women that have traveled to Africa and Gambia, and then black women that have traveled as well, they don't say nothing. As always, the black man got a target on his back, and he got a damn be in servitude here in America. Now they're trying to make him servitude where else. I just wish, like I said, the young lion, the young bull would have listened, and then taking heat to the OGs, man, to keep the heat off, man, because Chris made a very valid point. Brazil is making they're 50-50 split, man. They're becoming more radical, man, with this new government, man. And you got to be real careful how you move, because I think when we went about 2 years ago, it was more conservative, almost like when Trump was in office. But now this is a liberal president, so you got to be a little careful how you move. I would guess, I could be wrong, but I would say you would have to be careful how you move in that country. Go ahead and finish reading, Chris. Then I'm gonna finish playing that video. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, what's left really is just
okay. Well, you finish reading. Okay, good. All right. All right. So let me pull up this. Hold tight. Let me pull up this video, and then guys, I'm gonna drop the link if y'all want to come through and add to the conversation. But I want to see what Austin did a video talking about his intent, and let me see if I can find that real quick. Hold tight. See if I can find it real quick.
Let me see if I can stop.
And then Chris, man, on the whole concept of easy, like me personally, I don't see Brazilian women as easy. Dude, the Brazilian women are not easy at all. I think the prerequisite with Brazilian women, they understand traditionalism, and just respect. They respect the masculine and the masculine energy. And you know that just dealing with them. But to say that they're easy, I think that's a misconception. I really do.
No, I wouldn't say
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we you know what I'm saying? When I'm down there, I've talked to the girls. You know what I'm saying? And every girl ain't on that type of time where she wants you to talk to it. Like we know one of the things is they can be very flaky. I walked up to girls and I hollered at them in Portuguese and stuff, like got her number, got her Instagram. and then you try to set up something, and then you never really hear from her again and stuff like this. I mean, it happens. Some girls are ready to go. They like you. They want to spend time with you. They want to kick it. You know what I'm saying? It can be back and forth, hit or miss. You know, either way. You know what I'm saying? So to easy, no, you still got to put in. You know what I'm saying? Work and stuff like this, but it's it can go either way.
Shout out to my man CG5, CGF from LA for the 5. Thank you, CG. It's been a minute since I've seen you, brother. Let's break down what Austin is saying, because I think Austin was talking about the best director he received when he was in Brazil. Listen to what he's saying, guys. And Austin, if you listening, man, I hope things go well, but I hope so, Austin, that you learn as you continue to grow and listen to OGs when they try to give you
videos titled "Do Brazilian Women Like Criminals or Good?"
And this is the video that they tried to, I guess, hinge them up on. Go ahead.
The purpose of this video was for my followers to get a perspective on the difference of the culture between Brazil and the United States, because the United States,
I don't know why it's spinning.
Women like the criminals. This has been scientifically proven. So I said, you know what? I think Brazilian women are the best women on the planet, but let me go out and ask these women what they think and prove my point. I've said several videos that I think Brazilian women are the best women on the planet. I just now started posting my clips on Twitter. I think this may have been the first one. And it went viral. Okay, I woke up, it had like 20-something thousand views. That was like at 7 in the morning. It's 3 p.m. and it's at almost 900,000 views. So this video is probably gonna hit 2 million views before 24 hours. Like literally within 20 minutes, 70,000 people saw the video. Like it was like 750,000, then it was like 920 in 20 minutes. 70,000 people saw the video, so this video is going viral. And of course, Austin is used to getting hate from American men, which is crazy, American women, which is understandable. But the crazy part is, I did not shit on anybody. I didn't say anything negative about anybody. I didn't bring up American women. I didn't say anything bad about Brazilian women. I never say anything bad about Brazilian women. I came to Brazil to be with Brazilian women because I love Brazilian women. But I make content about this, and I'm traveling around the cities in different parts of the world to show people. I don't say negative things about Brazilian women. Surprisingly, these must be Brazilian feminist women. One of them, and I'm gonna post a comment here. I'm gonna show you, and I'm gonna show you. These women say that they have went to the local women's police station. I didn't even know those existed, but the women's police station to report me. Now, what I'm not understanding is, what are you going to tell the police? Because you're going to have to lie for me to be breaking the law. You know what I mean? All I said in the video was, how soon would you kiss me? Because in Brazil, kissing is different than it is in the United States. That's one thing I love about it. And I think she said right away, if she likes me. And I said, oh, really? So how soon would you go home with me? And I asked that because in the United States, a man can take a woman on 75 dates and get a side hug every time. But in Brazil, I have said, women in Brazil, more often than not, like 90% of the time, they're not going on a date with you. They're not even going to give you their number if they're not interested in you fully. You have it happen sometimes, but that's definitely not common here. And I've always admired that about Brazilian women. I love it because I don't like to waste time. And then I said after she was like, I wouldn't waste any time, I would go home with you the same day if I had time. I said, that's all I needed to know. Get your passport. Because that was proving my point that, hey, these women value time, they have clarity, they know what they want. That proves that. Because the United States is different. But this isn't about the United States right now. There's a woman, or I don't know, that says, I hope that you catch a bullet in your head, you effing gringo, or something like that. And I'm like, bullet in the head? For what?
See China before communism.
Why would either the me or the female get shot? You know, what kind of threat is that? And that was like, you know, wow, like there's some people, and I know it's just the internet, and people, it's easy to say that online. You know, it's very easy to say stuff like that online. That's part of the internet nowadays. But what would make you say that? But hey, I'm gonna keep posting content. I have stopped talking about American women. Now it's just me going around asking Brazilian women questions. And hey, don't get mad at me. Get mad at the person that said it. And there's nothing wrong with what she said. Anyway, I don't even know who she is. You know, I don't have her number. I don't even remember her name.
Solomon Ken, man, what do you think about those comments, man?
Which one? That's a lot to unpack, man.
Okay, well,
which comment and
unpack what you're saying. Then, you know, is the vitriol merited? Is the vitriol justified?
No, it's not. But at the same time, he's not in America, man. He's not in America. You just can't do that. Like I said, man, I think me personally, I'm just gonna stick with. I just think some content just don't need to be made.
Fair enough.
It just needs to just you don't even go there, man. Because in all honesty, you just opening up the door for stuff like this. You're gonna have more allegations. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can even lie. They can even take it a step further. Like, yeah, man, you know, rape, assault, and you just open the floodgates for something like that to happen to you.
Fair enough. Chris, what's your take on the son?
My thing is like this, and it's very simple. You hear the brother talking about, once again, I ain't breaking no laws. They're going to have to lie on me. Yeah, they're going to have to lie on you. How many people right now are dealing with, how many celebrities that we know have recently had to deal with women lying on them? All right. As far as what we know, we can go back to the case with Meg Thee Stallion. Okay. Everything pointed to Tory Lanez not having anything to do with shooting that gun at Meg. But guess what? He's doing time. There are no charges on Andrew Tate. But guess what? Because of what a female said, he's doing time.
Yeah.
There are no charges on Austin. But guess what? Women in the country are pushing to have legal action taken against him.
Mm-hmm.
Austin's not even in America. The two cases I just outlined, or the case before dealing with Meg Thee Stallion, whole situation with Tory Lanez, he was at least in the States, but he was also a foreigner. Remember, Tory Lanez was from Canada, and he's serving time in the States first, and then Canada's going to deal with his ass. All right? So we deal with these cases all the time. The question is, why put yourself in that line of fire? Okay? You're a black man. You know that the situation is generally going to be levied against you. You're a man. You're fighting in the world now that leans more toward feminism. White men even have to fight these same battles with custody, child support, and everything in the court, and everything that the manosphere talks about and stands for. White men have to fight these same battles. You think you too good for them to touch you? Come on now. This ain't no, I didn't break no laws. Of course you didn't. Neither did Tory Lanez. Neither did Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
But guess what? There is still a penalty that is going to be paid. Okay? This is why we say perception matters. And I'm not trying to say that, it's just right and wrong and fair and stuff like this. Guys, the world is not fair. The world ain't fair, family. You're trying to cop a plea on fairness. I didn't legally do anything wrong. This isn't fair. Okay. So now what are you going to do? They got charged if it come to charges being levied against you. And you run to another country, but that country says, oh no, we're going to expedite you back to Brazil because you got some business to take care of over there. Yeah. And you wind up dealing with the Brazilian government.
And then possibly being banned from Brazil. You know, he put all this. I hate to say this, all this is really on the line for Austin right now, man. It really is.
At the least. Because these girls can, let's not act like that we haven't had to deal with, women make allegations of harassment. What if one of these girls, because we know damn well the lengths that they will go to try to take men down. Tate talked about it. They said that they know that they're lined up to pay these women to create stories. Okay. What if one of these women comes with some false allegation that they paid her off to try to say that, oh, I felt sexually harassed or some stuff like this. And now they start trying to build a case in the dossier. Stephanie is building this. She is telling women to act. She is telling these people to act in this way to take him down. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to say that Austin is a bad guy. I'm trying to say that the optics matter and we need to be careful. Okay. The reason OGs before him was trying to reach out to him and tell him to move carefully is because of situations like this. When you want to walk around and make a lot of noise in the foreign territory, they're going to start listening to you. They're going to start hearing you. All right. You keep looking for the smoke, is going to find you. Now, I understand that he personally, what he was doing, he wasn't looking for the smoke. As far as what he says, I got it. But the optics, people around you were telling you, wait a minute, family, calm down. See, that's like I said, the background information a lot of y'all don't know about. We're giving you a little bit of the insight of what was going on in the background. Okay. All right. Because people want to, now everybody wants to act like Americans in foreign soil. They don't give a shit about you being American. Nope. All right. Because now they're looking at, oh, you've disrespected the country of Brazil. Now the country of Brazil is going to have to deal with you in certain situations. And if it gets to that level, I'm not saying that this is the situation. I'm saying that they are trying to ratchet it up to situations like that. And we've seen so many times before where not even black men, but black men, you get lied on. Yes, Austin, they gonna have to lie on you. And you know what? If somebody gives them enough money, they probably won't have no problem doing it.
Yeah. Right. Chris, hold on for a minute, brother. Hold on, Chris. Shout out to my man, Passport OG, for the $320 yen, man. I appreciate the Passport. Thank you, brother. Good brother. I appreciate that. And you know, I like what Andrew Baker and James Turner said. And James Turner said, of course, bro, we still got love for you, bro. I'm going to say this again, guys. As men, we don't agree on all things or ideologies. I'm not going to agree with everybody just because I'm cool with you and I know you. That's not my nature. I don't give a damn who you is. I'm just not going to agree with you for the sake of agreeing. Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. You can disagree with me. I still got love for you. But if people think I'm going to tap dance and just go along to get along, that's not my nature. And I think people should have the right to disagree and still chop it up, dap it up, and be cool. But if folks disagree with you and they get in their feelings and they don't break bread no more because of that, the hell with them. My point is, men be men. Say what you believe in, stand firm for what you believe in. But don't tap dance around no ideologies. I don't expect everybody to agree with me. But if they don't agree with me, I'm still cool with them. Just disagree, but keep it moving. There are some things I'm sure Chris don't always agree with me. I might not always agree with Chris. But I love and respect Chris as a young man, but also like a son, almost like a son, like a little brother to me, man. And Ken is more like a little brother as well. I respect these people, but we ain't gonna agree as men on all things, and that's okay. So shout out to my man James Baker and James Turner, Andrew Baker. That's what brotherhood is about, man. But go ahead, Chris, keep talking, man.
Well, again, kind of just to touch on the point, we are referring to optics of the situation, and if the Brazilian people are now creating a narrative around you where they're saying they're not very comfortable with what you're doing, I would say that it's best to say, I respect that. I'm in a different country. I get it. I'll fall back. Okay. Now's not the time to puff your chest out and buck back at them and say, I'm the almighty American, because they're going to see that as disrespect as well. They said, motherfucker, they're going to say, wait a minute, we allowed you to come into our country. We are now seeing that there's an issue between you and the women and how you are portraying our women.
Hey, Chris, to add insult to injury, who's to say the country is going through some turmoil or been through some turmoil where they've had some knuckleheads like this and they want to relieve their frustrations out on him just because maybe it didn't fall the way how they feel like it should have fallen. We can make an example out of his ass. We got somebody from America. Let's sock it to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Guys, do me a favor. Get the likes up for me. Based on the poll says that 78% of the viewers that are listening say that Austin is being targeted unfairly, and 22% says no. So more than 50% feel like he is being targeted, which is a good thing because I think he's being targeted as well. But as Chris and Ken said, perception, reality is everything, regardless of what the intent was. But in the meantime, the robot sent me a text, and he said, tell them Negroes to get them likes up. So guys, I need y'all to do me a favor. Go get them likes up, because the robot said he got bills to pay. And he said he tired of doing all this work without compensation. Get the likes up. All right, guys, get the likes up. Now, I'm going to drop the link as we finish listening to what Austin is saying. Anybody want to come on in the next maybe 15 minutes to compare or contrast, agree or disagree, I'm going to drop the link. Chris, you've done an awesome job. Also, Ken, I appreciate you coming through, brother. If anybody want to add to the conversation about Gotham, that Gotham moment for the Passport Bros, feel free to come on and add to the conversation with Chris and also Ken. If you come on and you're going to disagree with Chris or Ken, I'm going to, one, ask you to cam up before you sign in, but also I'm going to ask you to be respectful. It's okay to agree to disagree. We ain't going to agree on all things, and that's fine. You would be a fool to go along to get along. That's not in my nature. I don't go along to get along with nobody. I can respect you, but I'll be damned if I'm going to tap dance and this, act like I don't do that. I'm a man. I would never go along to get along with no man. I don't give a damn how you feel about it. And if you got a problem with it, you just keep it moving. You got to deal with me no more, but that's how I operate, that's how I move, and that's how I stand. But if you guys got an issue with the conversation with Chris or what Ken is saying, feel free to pop in and chop it up, man. Right. I dropped the link, man. And let's have a conversation if anybody want to keep talking. But Ken and Chris, where do we go from here, guys? Where do we go from here?
Well, I would say that, like I said earlier, one of the best ways to deal with this is we use this as a teaching moment. For those who are near Austin, you know what I'm saying? Now is the time to put your arm around them and say, all right, little bro, check it out. Come over here. Let's talk about it. All right. This is how we're not going to move. Okay. We're going to work this out. We're going to lay low. All right. We're going to take things easy. We know you didn't have no nefarious intention. If I was face to face in front of Austin right now, I would tell him, say, fam, I'm not judging you saying that you did anything wrong specifically. I'm saying that what you are doing, or what you did do, rose to a point to where the right people got onto you and they made it an issue. Okay. Specific people got on your case and now they made it a problem. And the best thing you can do right now is lay low. And let's hope that this doesn't evolve into something bigger. Depending on how things are rolling with him financially, I would definitely say get a lawyer, get an attorney or whatever on standby in case you need to deal with things down there, you know what I'm saying, in that country, in Brazil, whatever. I would say, have a lawyer on retainer or whatever the case. But for the most part, I would say lay low with that kind of content, maybe fall back, regroup, figure out a better strategy to do your content, because right now you got heat on you. You got the heat of, feminists. You caught the attention of feminists in Brazil. I'm sure there's no love lost between him and black women in the States. So the thing is that you want to pick very carefully how you battle. Your battle strategy, you want to regroup and you want to think about it. You want to be very careful because based off your content, you have made enemies. And you have boasted about that to say that, my content is controversial. It's what I do. Okay. But understand that will come with the territory of everybody's not always going to be in favor to help you. And you may have made some enemies in certain places. So just move accordingly, man. Lay low, regroup, understand. The biggest thing would be to understand where you messed up and say, all right, I got it. I see that wasn't a good play. And I'm going to refocus. And I would say that would be the best way to go.
Yeah, I think the best way would be to go this is a teachable moment. I think he does. And to be honest with you, man, I think he needs to reflect and really reevaluate some things, because I don't want this to happen again, because if it happened again, it might not be how it is now. It could turn out even worse. But I just hope it really dawns on him the reality of this situation. And as far as other travelers, man, going, just make sure y'all just, you have a good time, but still try to blend in. Be a chameleon as much as possible, man. You don't want to stand out. We already got enough heat. People don't want to see us traveling no damn way. And hell, some of the locals really don't even want you to find a wife of their nationality, to be quite frank with you. So you gotta realize that, man. That you're being watched. You've been all the time. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I agree, Ken. Emasculation is at an all-time high. And a fellow clinician of mine by the name of Edward Field IV has a book that he's promoting. And guys, if you get a chance, go get the brother's book. He's a therapist like myself. Don't be emasculated, because part of the radical agenda and the radical left, and when you don't know how to move and when you don't know how to be like a ninja, it can be very perilous, to say the least. So go get this book by Edward Fields IV, and it's called Emasculated.
Have you been distressed or perplexed? Emasculated, a book written by Edward Fields IV. Everything that needs to be known about men in modern time. Listen, men are not complex. They are misunderstood and unappreciated. Learn what men really feel, think, and desire. Also observe their struggle for acceptance, love, and belonging. A must read for every man in this classic book by Edward Fields IV, Emasculated. Go get your copy now.
All right, real quick, starting with my man Ken, and then Chris. But before I'm gonna finish this one, what Austin was saying, and then we're gonna have the final words. And God Stecky, this was a fire stream, man. You guys did an awesome job. It was very impromptu, but you and Chris came through. I appreciate the insight. To guys that agreed or disagree with Chris or Ken, I wish you guys would have came up, but it's all is well. Hold tight.
Let me also clarify this as well. This channel is not about sex tourism. There's nothing about this channel that is me promoting men go to other countries to buy sex. Let me make that clear. I do not promote men buying sex. And I've said that. I've said, guys, if you go to these other countries, do not just mess with the pros, because I can't stop y'all from doing that. We can't complain about American women and then go deal with women that everybody can get. Go meet you a genuine woman that genuinely likes you in Brazil, Thailand, I don't care where you go, and deal with her. Do what you want though, but that's what I'm promoting. I wouldn't go around asking prostitutes when do they expect to get married, how soon do they go home. I know how soon they go home. So no, I don't promote prostitution. I promote men in the United States and other Western countries getting what they deserve, because I firsthand experience, I was not getting what I deserved in the United States. I worked on myself. I'm a very handsome young man, and I know that. And I was treated like shit. I came to Brazil because I was like, let me try a whole different country, because these women in my country are not treating me right. And the women here treated me so well. When I was on the way back, about to get on the plane, I was in tears, crying, because I could not believe it. And now I live here, because once you go back to the United States after experiencing somewhere like Brazil, and I think Brazil is its own, there's nothing like Brazil, you can't readjust to the United States. I don't. Some people can do it. I don't know how they do it. But yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to clear up any confusion. I feel like this video is pointless. But yeah, this is a very viral moment for me right now, and I appreciate everybody just sharing and calling me corny, because the more you call me corny and the more you share my videos, the more recognition I get. But yeah, I just want to say that this is not, that's what this is mainly about. I do not promote sex tourism, because that's what stood out to me the most that people were commenting like, "Oh, you're promoting sex tourism." Never, ever. I promote men getting in relationships with these women, and whether they want to have a good time and just date around and see what they like first, have a girlfriend, get married. I can't control any of that. But I do not promote prostitution, international prostitution, none of that, because I don't even do prostitution. Has it happened before? Of course, but that is not. No, I don't go around buying women. No, that's not. I would not leave my country permanently to, not even at all, to go sleep with prostitutes. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. I would love to hear from the Brazilians. I'll put this in Brazilian Portuguese now that I know a lot of Brazilians are watching my videos. But yeah, y'all keep watching, and remember, in the United States, never in Brazil. I never say it's about Brazil because I love Brazil. That's why I live here. But in the United States, it's that.
Right, it's that bad. That's Austin's war cry. It is that bad. Mr. Allen, real quick, man, I got to sign off in a minute. I got to get my baby. Got him. What'd you get from this stream? Because they're trying to arrest the Passport Bros movement. They're trying to arrest what Dr. William Glasser talked about as it relates to power, fun, freedom, belonging, and survival. What do you think about this stream, man, and all this hoopla over Austin Holloman? I'll meet yourself, brother.
Like the brother said, we literally just talked about this on Mr. Sperling's channel over the past couple of weeks. Honestly, it's terrible what's happening to the young brother, but I can't say that I didn't see this coming, because it's a lot of bitter black women out there, and most men don't really realize how much they actually really hate you.
Right.
And when you flash in their face how well you're doing, for any of us that's ever had a baby mother or ex-wife, then you know how much she hates you when you start doing good. When she can see how good you're doing and it's on social media, that means she can see it and the world can too. So that makes her look real bad, real dumb. The young brother is going through it, not because he did anything wrong. He's going through it because they don't like him. Then he showed the world how much better things are. They don't want you brothers to come off the plantation. They want you on it, stuck, bend the knee to them.
Yeah.
So it's just an example. Move more carefully and move in silence. Move in silence. That's all you got to do.
Yes, sir. Masculinity moves in silence. With the passport movement growing, do you think this is going to thwart or slow down men traveling to Brazil, in your opinion? Or do you don't think it's going to have any visceral effect?
It depends. If they keep going, like the young lady said when she backtracked, yeah, but Carnival's coming. She's making excuses. Look here, whatever direction we as black men go, America follows. So we stop going to Brazil because our women are so-called on our ass. The white women will be on the white men's ass too. So that's going to clog up a lot of tourist dollars. So she should be careful. Is if we start looking at Brazil as being a no-go, a no-fly zone, it can affect them bad as far as their the income they make off their tourism.
Right.
That's just my opinion.
No, I agree with you. So you don't. So right. So if it does become a no-go zone, it's like almost like they're going to shoot themselves in the foot.
Yeah.
Right. What do you think about the hypocrisy, Mr. Allen, where many of these women solicit gringos or American men for money, for romance, or for whatever, but they try to paint the narrative that they're victims? What's your take on that?
Women are always going to play victim. They can attack you, then turn around and cry and play victim. There are a trillion videos on YouTube of women of all nationalities playing victim after they're in countries that were touched by feminism. So that's just what they're going to do. Now, we all know that it goes down in a lot of those so-called third world countries. If you have enough American dollars, you can do whatever you want. That's just the way it is. So for them to turn around and fake like it's something different, it's preposterous. But you got a big head broad that's just fishing, and she may be a news anchor, but that news anchor is going to be responsible for her country's GDP going down, and we'll see how smart she is then. So
Right. That's a good point. Ken, closing comments, brother.
Man, I agree with Mr. Allen, man. That was well said. I think what was really, I was taken back too by the video that he made, that the first thing that he went off on Austin, when he said that he was surprised how many views he got. You know, it kept going and I went viral. Like, that's that Gen Z mentality. Just because you go viral, what are you going viral for? And who are you representing when you do go viral?
Right.
You're representing us. You see what I'm saying? And he was just thinking about him. And it kind of let me know the context of, man, this guy clearly don't know what the hell is going on. You know, and that's just him just being unexperienced as a traveler and just not taking heed to what some of the elders had been telling him.
Right. Fair enough. And, you know, Barnum said hundreds of women have been flooding his IG and notified the Brazilian government about him. Shaking my head. And that lets you see how vitriolic or how hateful they are. And that's why the way when you move, you got to move in silence. Because they don't mean you no damn good. They don't want you, but they don't want you to be happy at the same time. And you know, Black Ram did an excellent show talking about the increase of women using witchcraft on men. And I know it sounds very archaic and fake, but it's real. Me and Alan, we talked about it a couple of shows ago, the rise of witchcraft. And does this sound sort of witchy to you, Alan, in your opinion? Does it sound witchy? Talking to, go ahead, Alan. Go ahead, dog.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm on my phone. That's how I watch the broadcast.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. It does. But we talked about a brother from last night from Mr. Sperling's show. He touched on something. It's not just witchcraft. It's perception, and women know they are their. I'm not gonna say they're masters, but they're very good at perception. That's what makeup is for. They change the way things look. Black men have been shot down in our communities because of perception, but they were the ones spreading that false narrative and perception about us. So yes, I do believe words. I do believe it is witchcraft to a certain extent, because you see the way she twisted a young man's words, and she did it like just because she knew. I think she has an idea what the outcome would be, but I don't think she saw further along in the future outside of that. So if you make your country that's completely, not completely, that's highly reliant on tourism, a place that we don't want to come to, that's going to affect you. Women oftentimes have been known to use witchcraft, but they're thinking about the right here and the right now, not the future ramifications of their actions. So it is witchcraft. She twisted his words, and then she put it out there for the masses to see, read, and hear, which I guess will be to a certain extent performing a spell, and they believed it. So yes, it's witchcraft to a certain extent.
Do you think I think I asked you earlier, but do you see the Passport Bros movement continue to grow in spite of this small hiccup?
Yes, because you have a lot of fathers, my age and a little bit younger and older, that are getting their sons passports. But I will say this: I would starve them out for a good month or two to let them know how much power you actually wield economically. Make them feel it. Because she has someone she has to answer to above her. The money speaks volumes. Or just pick another country. Instead of going to Brazil, go to Ghana or Gambia. Go somewhere else.
Right.
Where you can be appreciated, because if feminism is so important that you need to start destroying us, just like or oppressing us the same way we experience here at home, then cool. You don't get our money then. Because allegations or not, that young man could spend some time in prison off that. So it's not fair. So just go from there.
And we know many of men have been to prison or had their resources taken away off false allegations. We know it's happened a lot of times. It still continues to happen. And so, the immaterial, right? The young football player that had false accusations. And if I were a lot of these young men or men in general, I would be indifferent. I wouldn't pay them no attention. I would say to myself, keep my head down, get my paper up, and travel in silence, and just don't broadcast your business online. That's all you got to do. But you agree with that?
I guess. Yeah. Move in silence. Know that your dollar means more to that government than that woman's words. Move in silence. Like my puppy's playing in the background. There's noise as hell. So,
okay, brother. All right. Real quick, Chris, closing words, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, fire panel as usual. You know what I'm saying? Kosher. You know, I thank you for having me up, man.
Fire for your mind.
I mean, shout out to Ken, brother. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? I ain't seen you in a long time, cuz you know what I mean? It's good to see you, Brody.
Yeah. Somebody thought he was Eric Benet, man. You know, that's Eric Benet.
Eric, what do you get? You get Eric Benet and Childish Gambino. That's what we get. Yeah.
Hey, tell Chris, I met my Holly Berry down there, man.
Hey, y'all should have seen them in the club, man. I'm telling you, they was just like, you know, Donald Glover or Danny Glover. Yeah, they will tell you they was on them, dog. It was real in the club. We know. But yeah, man, you know, it's been a fire panel, you know what I'm saying? As this is basically a State of the Union address for Passport Bros, I would definitely say that, you know, as far as the movement going forward, is it going to stop? No, I don't see Passport Bros stopping. Now, I don't think it's going to stop, but I think we'll definitely use this as a lesson. And I definitely think this will be something that we need to keep in the back of our minds. All right. Now, if Brazil wants to act up and this thing starts to get to a point to where it gets out of hand, of course, there are always other places. A lot of the brothers are already been frequent in different spots. You know what I mean? You know, Africa has been looking good. You know, for a lot of brothers, they definitely have been moving out throughout Africa, some even to Europe, you know, stuff like this. You know what I mean? So there are definitely a lot of places that can be actually, honestly, brothers have been migrating slowly but surely outside of the Latin American territory. Brothers have been moving about. Okay. The passport, yeah, like I said, the passport movement, I don't think it's not going to stop. It ain't about stopping the movement, but we don't want to have more on our backs to fight. You know, we don't want to have to continue to have these battles in these, you know, these skirmishes about certain things. And
I'm sorry, go ahead. I apologize. Yeah, I apologize.
But we don't want to continue to have these skirmishes. We don't want to continue to have to deal with this. You know, this is why we travel, to get away from this. You know, brothers, let me tell you the statement of Passport Bros is peace. Brothers are looking for peace. Okay. We're not looking to go to a different country and have to continue to fight the same war we were fighting in the States. Now, we saw Austin, he just referenced, he said, y'all keep talking about me because this is going to ratchet up. All it does is blow me up. I'm just like, yeah, family, but at the same time, I would hope you wouldn't focus on that, because, you know, it's almost like you're kind of still advocating for drama because it's just going to blow you up and you're going to be able to gain from it. And I'm just like, I would hope you wouldn't hold on to that too much. But he does say that he loves Brazil and stuff like this. I mean, that's good. You know what I mean? Like, but at the same time, saying that you love Brazil, understand how some content can be taken a certain type of way. And like I said, this is a double-edged sword conversation, because I want to see him grow. I like the fact that he loves it out there in Brazil, but I also hate the fact to see that he has to deal with this from this this big dog feminist who now done jumped on his case, and now she's calling everybody to order to rally against the Passport Bros in total. She's not like this is why I said they understand who we are. They understand the movement. Mm-hmm. They understand that brothers are going to different places, Brazil, Philippines, Colombia, Puerto Rico, what she says, sexual purposes. Okay. They understand. Like I said, you went looking for your enemy and you found it. All right. So let's just take this as a moment to say we understand how things can get when we move overseas or when we travel overseas. And from this point on, we're going to move accordingly to understand that it ain't always sweet and that things can get real. So we got to make sure that we always cover our six.
No doubt. Chris, it's been a good one, guys. I got to go. I got to pick my daughter up. But guys, thank you for this excellent stream. You guys, y'all brought it home. Chris, I'll hit you up in the background, man. Ken, I'll hit you up as well, man. But I'm gonna drop you guys down, man. Love you, brothers, man. Thank you for tuning in on this night, all right?
Yep.
Drop you guys down. All right, guys, listen, the war of attrition is on, and listen, you got to get it from the mud if you're going to deal with the ravages and the disrespect that's going on here in America. I told you guys in the past that there are 7 steps that men must go through in order to become optimized. And as we said, world travel is important, but not only world travel, but also knowing how to understand and deal with female nature is also paramount to helping you become the better version of yourself. If you want love, if you want acceptance, get your passport, because in the words of Austin Holleman, it is that bad. Be well.
I'm tired of America, so I'm hitting Richie on the net. I got the tickets, that's a bet. We need the link, my brother set it up. Damn, I didn't had enough. Ooh, I won't lie. Can I get a little shake with them fries? My skin tone is matching your eyes. Black men, you know we like them thighs. And baby, she can do it all. Your land is my land. Cut through.
Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Watch out for those who surround you, need no funny kind. You can't see what's on my brain, I live inside my mind. Out of space and out of sight, you need me in my line. Need no fakes, don't need no phonies, no. Need no snakes, no only homies, down for show. On go. Get a book and get the front end, we load up and roll. I got kids, yeah, I got staff, I make a little need more. I sell records, you sell packs, not on my level, no. I'm a pop star, I'm a rock star, I'm a one. Think I'm not hard, you smoke rock hard waste, man, why you dumb? I'm with airline, we on airlines like we on the run. I'm with take girls run up on me, they done. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Money line, I'ma run it every time. Give me mine, going up, need no decline. Yeah. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my ass. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my money line. Why check Castro, yeah, I need my. I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, have me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up, matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me, it's not adding up. Do roll like a Mack truck, country heart, I might cop a farm and go act up. Lot of scars, I was cold-hearted, now I'm back up. Keep it real, I do this once a month, I don't rap much. I just take the money and go stack up. Only buying car till you get tatted up. All that other bull, it don't matter much. You only climb me, I put the ladders up. No fault, I done doubled up on the workload. I think I fell in love with the bankroll. Pray up, get money, then we lay low. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, bankroll, euro, peso, add it up, I'm just doing me, everything is on me, no matter what. Add it up, told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up. Add it up. Told her if it's all me, everything is on me, gon' back it up. Matter what. Told ya I'ma do me, why you hating on me? It's not adding up.
Swipe, 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 swipe. Swipe, 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 swipe.
Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Swerving, making plays, Ferrari red. Never out my zone, touchdown in my hands. Only fam around me, I can't have no friends. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. Ever since I was a teen, had prices on my head. Had to cut you off, you left me out for dead. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Ballpoint on the beat, ballpoint make them dance. We came up from nothing, now we're making plans. Just picked up some bands, Tell her ask it questions when I come and grind. On the run like a runaway. Only way is the money way. New chain, no jewelry. No games, don't fool me. 21, been a boss. Take the game, pay the cost. Heard you roll a TikTok. You can get another watch. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Just picked up some bands, come again. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. I'm the running man, rapping rubber bands. They do what I do, I'm like Simon says. Time to run it all. I wake up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. 9 out of 10 roll through my hands, I'm by my lonely. Turned to a savage, now my baby wants to hold me. I love my fans, don't need no friends, I got my homies. Thought I could trust you, I find out you tried to zone me. I'm number one up on that court, I'm Nick McGrady. The first one in, the last one out, can't call me lazy. Put in my hours, send me invoice and they pay me. I need 6 rings like MJ and Tom Brady. I wake up, flex, I'm down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. Y'all gon' make me take that trip way out to Europe. I call up Nigeria, come through in a hurry. Those London boys don't come to play, you should get worried. One false move, find yourself, they getting buried. Dance with the devil, used to love playing those games. Made some bad decisions that brought my mama pain. I made a promise to her, swore that I would change. I'm on the come up, bet I live up to my name. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. I wake up, flex, thumb down that check. No drip, this wet. Time to run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Time to run it up. nigga work in finance. God bless, no, this not by chance. Don't dab me, you're not my man. Don't at me, you're not my man. Mama said don't buy it if you cannot buy it twice. I cop by the tools and I don't pump fake with the price. Always on the grind, I put in work with all my might. I know that he got me, not by sight. Yeah, 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 yeah. I skirt like Bernice, I slide Hollandish, me to Benji, all black like Daisy. 4 days, that's for sure though. Grinding from the grip, no shame, take a photo. Time to take a trip, we head north to the border. Say you feeling up, I'm my favorite type of hoarder. I got kids.
Fire! Emotion, clinician.